Freedom's our anthem every night and every day. No more hiding, we're wise, no disguise. We are the truth in your world full of lies. Stand up high in the sky, just come and explore. The more you speak, the more you roar. So say something, baby, and then say some more. Get out the shadows and step into the light. Joining us in the space and kick into the fight. Wednesday night lightning and our minds are white. We say something, baby, and we can say it all night.
Lazarus, come out!
Everybody with me. All right, Houston. All right, X. Welcome to another live broadcast. Say Something Lounge, baby. Got three of my favorite people, my co-host Desi Rezi, Destiny with us tonight, plus the man, the myth, Dustin Stockton, the absolute king of the hill. As long as Jen's not here, he's the king. And look at that, Kevin Smith, a newcomer to the show. Welcome from deep south, brother. Welcome to the Northeast. What's going up in your neck of the woods, man?
None, man. Just enjoying life, watching Trump own the stage. Everything is good. Just having a better day than the Krasensteins. But other than that, I'm doing all right.
Oh my God. Let me see. Where is that thing at?
I mean, I'm not diving into anything that happened to them today. All I know is that if you're out there and you're having a bad day, just know you could be Ed and Brian today.
Bro, so here we go. Let me see. Where is that thing? It is right. Oh, it is one of these things. It is right there on Tim Young. There it is. So the Krasens. So I go to this site, right, and it is. I guess it should be up on the screen right now. You should be able to see it. Well, it's not on there right now. Wow, I love the glitches.
No, it's just Tim Walls.
Yeah, up at what it was I went to the space, and it was and I saw the headline, and it said Krasenstein's breaking Krasenstein's teen porn website debate, and I'm like, what the hell, man? Like what?
It's on Dr. Simon Goddick.
Yeah, and you know what's really funny about it too, is that they were freaking out in a space by that Khaleesi and Suleiman were hosting, and I tried to explain to them that crisis management 101, if you're explaining, you're losing. So and look, I get it. I get why he's upset. People accused him of doing something foul a number of years ago, and whether it's true or not, I'd be very upset about it. But it turns out, just don't be a dick in public all day long, and these sorts of things won't happen to you.
But they're so sweet though. I mean, like you've heard the intonations and the inflections. It's very Michael Jackson. It's very
they were.
No, it's not. No,
they were real. They were real sweet when they represented the Lollipop Guild and brought Dorothy into Munchkinland.
So let me ask you something about Krasensteins real fast. Like, and Dustin, what do you like? What honest opinion without getting yourself in trouble? Like, what is it? Just total scam? Is it just a total scam mob right there, or what's happening?
They are the product of clickbait culture, and unfortunately. Right, like you almost like I have less disdain for Brian and Ed than I do a lot of the internet trolls, because they've played the game exceptionally well, and right, the algorithm rewards the behavior of the Ed and Brians of the world, and I'm old enough to remember how they built their following, which is they had some kind of bot that like auto replied to Donald Trump back when the algorithm rewarded that. And so they were always the top, like in Jack Dorsey's Twitter, they were always the top response to Donald Trump. It was always some like outlandish, ridiculous shit, but it's still happening. right? If every moment that Donald Trump posts, there's instantly like 200 replies, right? And I try to do it. I'm just not that fast or committed or dedicated to like serving my algorithm master, and like they are. You know what I'm saying? Like they just get the job done.
You know, they
Yeah.
are the, you know, you said it softer than I would. They are the product of a culture that never got punched in the face. Like when I grew up, like if you talked crap on like MySpace, you went to school the next day and got the repercussions of that. But because we live in such a nationalized world now, like you can just be as rude as I fall into that category too. I'm incredibly rude on Twitter, but you know, it is there is safety in being as rude as someone like Destiny without ever having to deal with the people in person for there to be repercussions for your rudeness.
Well, I distinctly remember like one of my favorite moments from your acting career is I believe it's at the end of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, when they go and they beat up everybody from the internet who was talking smack. As well done, Kevin. Well done.
Yes, yes. They just go through the comments section and just beat the crap out of everyone. Don't they show up at like some 12-year-old's door or something? Like, you know, that would be me going to NYU to visit a certain person. But no, but like I said, that is the product that this culture has wrought. You know, it's that there's no repercussions for being as rude and as vile as possible. So when I see someone like Simon, who did all this digging on the Krasensteins, look, whether it's true or not, they don't seem to mind when they're doing it about other people. So when it comes around their way, look, we all did things we're not proud of. The difference is that they never thought there would be repercussions for doing some of this stuff, for buying domains and then selling them back to people at 10 times the price that they bought them for. Like, you know what? Good for you. Like, here we go. Like my company, The Loud Majority. I can't buy that domain because some idiot like the Krasensteins bought it for $2 and is sitting on it. And now that they know there's a company about it, I can't purchase it. And they just jacked the price up, like what Mark Cuban did with broadcast.com. Like, it's just a dick move to, like, not scam people, but it's like it's like buying something on Amazon and selling it on the street for 3 times the price. Like, you could do it, but why would you?
I believe
Well,
Kamala calls that price gauging. Yeah, so
I just bought loudmajority.soul, and it can be yours for the low price of 500 soul.
Exactly. See, that's what it is. Actually, it is really funny when Mayor Bloomberg ran for president. His campaign bought up like 500 different domains. All like some of them were normal, you know, Mike Bloomberg for president, Michael Bloomberg for president. Then some of them were funny, like Mike Bloomberg is a dweeb.com. Mike Bloomberg is too short to be president.com. They bought all funny ones. And then John Oliver actually put together a list of all the funny ones you could still buy, like Mike Bloomberg is a wiener.com. That was available for a little while. And people had their fun with that. I think if you go to MikeBloombergisawiener.com right now, it's just it just shows a picture.
I
of
don't
him
want that
in-
in my search history.
You know, it's funny as hell.
yeah, that's well, I didn't really do a deep dive of this about the research that this guy did, but supposedly was it a 12?
Do you
was it
not
a
know
12?
Simon?
Huh?
You don't know Simon?
I've
Do you know
heard who
Simon?
he is, yeah, but I just saw this when I got on my way home. I saw that
He's cool.
I saw the Khaleesi and Suleiman space.
They're in a space right now. I'm in it on my phone.
Yeah, they're like, see, when I first saw it, I'm like, I'm not going in there because I don't want to get, kind of like Dustin talk, like I just don't want to get caught up in that stuff, man. It's just,
I'm not listening. I just wanted to see who's there. It's quite a lot of people, actually.
Well,
It's because everyone hates them.
before, I mean, I was listening. I think a few of you guys were too. I mean, it was like I would have paid to listen to that, and it was free because he was just spiraling more and more by the minute. But you know what? Is that when you I told him straight up. I'm like, bro, if you can't take the heat, then go stream, Madden. Go play Fortnite. Like, you want to be in politics in a world where we are now in the midst of a culture war, then don't come pissing and moaning to me when people sling arrows back at you.
Well, speaking of pissing and moaning, got somebody that's about to show up right now, and I think there's going to be a lot of pissing and moaning. So let's see what she's got to say.
Oh boy, trouble's here.
What's going on?
More
sister?
feminine
What you up
energy.
to?
Thank goodness.
Hello.
How are things? We're talking about. I don't know if you had a chance to hear it, but we're talking about
Krasenstein Gate.
Krasensteins and some of that stuff going on there. I don't know if you got a chance to see over at
Oh,
Khaleesi's and Sullivan's.
I saw it.
What's your take? What's your take
I'm-
about what's happening over there?
I'm ex-friends with Dr. Simon, and he. Thing about Dr. Simon is when that guy has a bone, he doesn't let up. So the Krasensteins have gotten into his crosshairs, and I would not want to be on Dr. Simon's bad side. And I was also, were y'all in the space today where they were going back and forth?
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah,
And
I heard Brian. I think it was Brian. I heard Brian. He was like his thing went into almost dog whistle level.
Oh,
Like,
his
it was
octave
high-pitched.
was.
Wow, bro, that thing was up there. Like,
I feel like I'm so far away.
In Italy, they call that a castrato.
Yeah.
I'm sure you
he's a
can.
total freaking castrato.
But what I gleaned from that space, and I even asked Dr. Simon, I'm like, this is exactly what I got. Am I off base on this? He basically admitted that he bought these domain names for porn sites, and knowing they were misspelled, in order for people who are going to those websites to hopefully create a typo, land on his page, he gets the ad revenue from it, and then they're like, whoopsies, this isn't teenwhatever.com. And he was okay with that. He's like, well, it's not like they were coming to my porn site, but you're making ad revenue off pedophiles.
Yeah,
Right?
that's literally like, look, man, I didn't make the heroin. I just made it available for everyone. I left it on. I walked into an NA meeting and just left heroin all over the table. I didn't shoot it up. I didn't put a needle in their arm. Like, it's. But look, that is and look, like Dustin said, they play the internet game. They play it very, very well. Does that make them bad people? Yeah, but
Yes.
Uh,
yes, 100% it does. But you know what? It's if you leave the door open, somebody's going to take advantage of it.
Hey, Dustin, do you think that this, this is a pretty big deal when you see the word pedophile, and you see porn, and then you see Krasenstein's name, like, you can spin that any way you want to. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people aren't going to be able to hear that conversation. They're not going to go back and listen to it. But that association itself, that's a tough one, man.
Well, I mean, we're assuming that they have the function that we all call shame, and that somehow that's something that they feel or have ever felt. Let's not forget these are the same Krasenstein brothers who said, "Oh, Joe Biden molesting his daughter through showers in her diary. That's not weird. Like you guys, right? Like." Inappropriate showers with daddy, man.
That was a hard space. I remember that one.
Right?
Like dealing with them, yeah.
Naked dudes just like cruising around during Pride stuff. That's normal, right? Like that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these dudes, they don't have shame, and right. To be honest, the algorithm loves that. Like, the algorithm appreciates the dedicated way that there is no sense of any type of contempt or shame that they could ever apply to themselves, which allows them to take positions, on things like supporting Kamala over her face. Which, by the way, I just bought the .com. It's already mine.
And the soul address as well. Don't forget that.
I don't
You
know
know-
the docile.
You know what though? You're so right. Everything they post is to either stupid people or it's to incense both sides just to get their engagement. And I love when they put up their little, oh look, this is how much we make on Twitter. I want to make it very clear. If that's actually what they made on Twitter, they're doing it wrong. Then they're the stupidest people alive. Like it is I have no problem with hucksters. I have a problem with people who I don't have a problem with the person running a scam. I have a problem with them thinking that it's like, oh, I'm not doing anything. It's just part of the game. Like, you know, like I said, heroin dealers don't pretend they're selling medicine.
Yeah.
No, they don't. And I just think that I think you could associate me with heroin, and I think that people like the people on here, I think you probably would know me well enough to know that I'm probably not a heroin dealer. Not perfectly, but enough, you know. But when I see those words associated with that's really, those are still the ones that you don't want to have anything to do with. You know what I'm saying? Like there's still some modicum.
They're
of-
loaded, is what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
They're
Like, those are
loaded,
still
but is
trigger
anyone
words,
really
right?
surprised? Is anybody genuinely like taken off by this? Like, oh, I'm shook. No. I think
Okay, so
people be like, oh yeah, it kind of
yeah,
makes sense.
And I think that too, Des. But I'm wondering.
Unfortunately, that's unfortunate, but I'm saying
Yeah.
like it's also not surprising.
Yo, did you guys see this? Somebody stormed the press risers at Trump's rally. Some deranged Democrat tried to climb up on the press risers, and then subsequently, it looks like got the shit beaten out of him.
If they didn't run from a gunshot, they're probably gonna go flock to the dude who's like in the building. You know?
Oh,
Well, I was gonna say, if after an assassination attempt, if you're too dumb to try to stir up something at another rally, wasn't that rally in Pennsylvania too?
Yeah, it was about 3 hours, west of Butler.
All right, well, the dude's an idiot, and he
Yeah.
clearly had a.
No doubt.
I'm not gonna say the word, but he had a wish. And
A
the
wi-
fact that the he's lucky he only got the kicked out of him.
he had a wish to be unalive.
Thank
He
you.
wished to be alive. Like,
You got you got to make sure you say that guy wanted to unlive. That way I see you, algorithm. You're not getting me tonight.
Well,
Nobody's
what,
gonna get freaking Kevin Smith with that freaking algorithm. Shit.
Ain't happening.
was it Jim Acosta?
No,
I've
was-
watched Jim Acosta have meltdowns in the Trump press pens
True.
back in the day.
nah. This guy, like I said, this guy didn't. This guy, oh wow, he actually kind of looks like the Unabomber.
Acosta's meltdowns.
I'm right here, Kevin. Like, bro, come on.
Now I'm gonna be honest with you, Dustin. I'll send it to you. If I mean this could be you.
Hey Kevin, let me ask you something real quick. Is this a dude that the Secret Service knew about? Right? They were after him, and they just didn't like the border thing. Like they knew that this guy was in here. They knew, but they just, it's not really something we need to get into right now. Trump is literally standing out in the open down by the border. Y'all all saw that, right? And then he winds up making a snide. You know the way the way that Trump trolls. He's like, no, I'd love to take this question right. I'd love to take this question from you right now, but it's not safe. Not safe being out in the open like this right now. Unsafe, very, very unsafe.
No,
But he's making a joke of it, but he's literally standing out in the middle of the open.
I mean, look, I think that that's just his personality. I mean, he keeps saying, "Oh, I'm never talking about this again." Like, I think when he orders his dinner, he's like, "I will take a steak well done with ketchup." Do you know they shot me in the face? And look, I do it too. Look, I want you to know, if you take a shot at me, I'm never not bringing that up again. Everything I say to the end of time.
That's
will be
lame.
No,
You gotta be like,
That's free dinner. That's free dinner at every restaurant.
what's cooler, telling people you got shot, or somebody finding out you got shot, and then you get the opportunity? Of course, they're gonna want to know, because
Well-
then you really got their attention.
Well, in fairness,
Telling someone that they got shot.
in
Fair
fairness,
mystery.
Dustin,
Yeah.
I don't know. The other day I was walking to get my mail. Guess what happened?
Did you get
Shot.
shot in the face?
you get shit. I mean, look,
Is that
in
what
fair-
happened?
look, in fairness, 50 Cent sold like
Did you say that?
He sold like 50 million albums telling people he got shot, and then never made a decent one again. So if you got it, you got it.
You got it. Yeah.
Am I the only one who's been shot at here?
No.
No,
I've been, yeah,
I'm not.
shot at, not shot though. No,
Oh, so I'm the only
Destiny-
bitch who hasn't
Destiny
been
has
shot at?
bullet holes in her house, like by her bathtub. where
I've been,
she-
yeah. Well, that I didn't get shot in that though. My house got shot,
Yeah.
but I've been stabbed.
Destiny's been shot, stabbed, shot at,
Mhm.
stabbed, and also had her brake lines cut. I recall.
Yo, you need to be in a more safe place.
Bro, I'm trying
Can I-
to
Oh,
keep this
I'm
relationship
super
going.
safe.
I'm
All
trying
that,
to-
and I'm still good.
Can I
Hey,
just
I'm
say?
I'm just trying to cut this chick as my co-host. I just don't know how to do it because I'm afraid she's gonna be like,
Tell Mike
like, see
his
that face right
volume.
there?
You're one
Okay,
of the
right
6
there.
people that have my kill switch.
Okay, wait. So it isn't just me. Jen just came out and told me that your volume sucks, Mike.
It does suck.
It
That's
does.
a lot.
Y'all, how about?
Yeah, no, like you are barely
wasn't gonna
coming
tell
through,
you.
bruh.
You're low.
I thought it
But
was
I
me.
Two.
Oh, there we
There
go.
we
here we
go.
go.
Lone Star Country KJ 103.
No,
J. Michael's
back
Rock
low
and
again.
104,
More,
guaranteed.
more.
Low.
But by the way, I have been able somehow to see Destiny's eye rolls at Mike all these years, even though it wasn't on camera. And so, like, to get that reinforced, like in video form, it is
Satisfying?
everything I hoped it would be.
When I said Destiny before, I wasn't talking about you. I was
She thought
talking
you
about
were.
That
I'm-
creep Destiny, right?
yeah, the pansexual
We
dude
share a name.
who lets his
So
wife
dumb.
get pounded by other dudes and then she
It's
leaves
a
him.
weird, it's a weird scenario. So speaking of, how's the
Yeah.
volume now? Good.
No, it's down again.
Better, but
It was better. Whatever you did the first time, just redo
Your
that.
bass is really high.
Y'all's bass is high. How's that coming back?
I just
Yeah.
came. It's not my bass. It's my actual voice.
Damn it! I've got this thing jacked up. What are you talking about? Oh my god. Okay, let's do this real fast, just for fun. Here we go. Let me try this real quick. Let's go. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How's that?
Better.
Fake and gay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4,
Gay.
5.
Super gay.
I'm just impressed he can count to 5.
I know. That's all. I'm not going to
Exceeding
practice.
expectations.
Good
Yeah.
job, Mike. We practiced this.
Is this good or bad?
Your
Why
moment.
is that so low like that? That is unbelievable.
Yeah, no, it is oddly low.
Say it with your chest.
Say it with your chest.
I'm gonna jack that.
Put some
volume
respect
all
on
the
that
way up.
name.
Yo, I love that Kevin Hart bit.
That's
Say it
jacked up. That's as good
say
as
it
I
with
get it,
your
boys.
chest.
Your chest.
How's that? Yay, nay, same, what?
There we
Better.
go. That's better.
Better. So, other than Krasenstein, did anything happen today?
Check.
Well, yesterday
well,
was Michael Jackson's birthday, and
Yeah.
it was a sad moment. I really love Michael Jackson, so like I was really actually genuinely sad.
He really stepped on Farrah Fawcett. You know, she couldn't even have the day.
Yeah, that's true. You don't go
Yeah.
against Mike and come out on top. Let me ask you this real quick. Let me see. Where is that freaking clip? So take a look at this. Tell me if what I'm about to show you something that's gonna absolutely just gonna make
Do what? What?
it's gonna make
What is
it's
it?
gonna make y'all's mouth water. Okay.
I like that.
Yeah, it is gonna be something else. You're gonna love it. You're not gonna be able to see anything but this one coming up here. It's a nice little where is she? There she is.
Oh boy.
Why do I think I know where you're going here?
It's a trap.
It's a trap. Get out of there.
There's something about like the quote there. That's a man have something to do with this.
Check the Adam's apple.
You know what? I'm not
So-
gonna hate. Boy looks, prettier than a lot of chicks I know. I'm not gonna lie.
I'll give
Like,
him.
it's
I'll
sad.
give him the walk. I will definitely give him. I'll definitely give him the walk.
But there's no
I-
hips though, so like
But-
that's the real tell.
Where is it?
Oh, snip, certainly, right? Or
Oh,
tape,
Tucky.
maybe. Tape.
think you call that- I think they call
do
that a
some
Tucker Carlson.
Extraordinary tucks these days.
This just the whole world is fake and gay. I'm convinced.
Mm-hmm. If this
So
is
I'll-
if this is a
so-
simulation, can we get past this point?
Yeah, we're past it, bro. I just wanted to see if I could catch Dustin off guard. So let me ask you this: I want to talk a little bit about that interview last night. Heather, did you get a chance to see that at all? Any clips
Oh,
of that?
absolutely, I did.
So I want to ask you real quick, Heather. So look at this. This is, and I want to talk about some aspects of that because I thought it was very strange. But this right here, this is that live, the live comment on the top of CNN. Like that is literally completely deceptive, right?
100%.
What's the point? What's the point in that? I mean, it's literally edited.
Well, the whole thing was deceptive. I think it was Benny Johnson today put up a side by side of her interview versus her interview with JD Vance. And it was night and day. She was combative with him. It really felt like, one, somebody needs to be a hero at CNN and they need to release the entire, all of it. That's first and foremost. Number two, I would love to see the communications, the correspondence, and the stipulations that were put on this interview. What wasn't allowed to be asked? Did Kamala submit questions so she had the answers ready? Because I felt like when Dana, right? That's how you pronounce it, Dana.
It's Dana for some reason.
I'll
Yeah.
go with
So
Dana.
whenever it just felt like when she was pushing and pressing Kamala the very minuscule amount that she did, she looked nervous. She looked like Kamala and Tampon Tim were going to step out of that room at any given moment if she messed up the question or she pushed too hard. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't a comfortable exchange. It wasn't a friendly. It was a, I'm shoving my nose as far up your you know what in hopes that you're going to complete this interview. That's what it felt like to me.
Kevin, what'd you think? What'd you think about the fact that Walls was up here and Kamala is down here? And for some reason, and again, I talked about this a lot in Dustin Spaces. I love the mentality. I like the boardroom discussion. Okay. So you got a bunch of people sitting around saying, here's what I want to do. Now follow me here. We're going to put them in a diner, black diner, dark diner, low, dimly lit, make it romantic, make it the ambiance, make it warm, make it cozy. Dim everything down. I want to really accentuate her wrinkles, you know? So what, like somebody sat around and said, yes, let's do that. CNN, Kamala's people, whatever, it was still approved. What do you think?
I just think that putting her next to Homer Simpson was not a good idea, and I just can't like.
He's all they had, bro.
I just look around and I'm like, so that you couldn't find anybody else in the whole Democratic Party than this guy. Not only is he inherently unlikable, but the whole setting was just odd. And I've never been less impressed with an interview in my life. If you're gonna wait 40 days, you better come out of the box banging. And she didn't. I'm getting an echo. Is anybody else? Oh no! All right, there it goes. But yeah, no, it was not good. I thought she totally bombed. She answered none of the questions, and Dana Bash actually did attempt to press back a little bit, but I don't think it really did. I don't think it did her very well.
Well, so I've been the dude who's been like in the like, oh, let's set the scene on this one. What I love about it is, Kevin, you have to remember that like rule number one of your vice president is they can't upstage you. Now imagine that you are so dumb and unlikable that you are not even functioning to the level of being able to, I don't know, take a softball interview. Now it's not easy to find somebody to dumb down there, right? Like you, I mean, who you gonna get? Who you gonna get?
I don't know. I'm trying to think. Like, I thought they would have picked like at least a good politician, but they didn't even manage to do that. Maybe scoop up Jared Polis out of Colorado. They literally plucked this guy out of obscurity, and which to my mind makes me think that they know this thing is lost and they don't want to waste any of their bench. That's the only thing I can think of. That's why anyone with any sort of political talent was like, I'm good. I don't want any of this. Unless it was somebody like Mark Kelly who's never going to rise any further. But Tim Walz he's supposed to be like this folksy Midwestern guy, but like he's not fun. He's not folksy. You know, there was that thing with the horse.
Well, I think like Kamala was meant to be Joe Biden's, she was going to get the minority vote. She was going to get the female vote. And I think Kamala, she needs the middle class vote. She needs a lot of votes that I think they thought a football coach with a guy that had served 24 years prior to them seriously vetting him, because it came out to bite him in the ass.
So what the stolen valor, Heather, like from your perspective, I think a lot of us, it's hard for us to get it who have never served, but like what is that exactly? Like what does that mean to someone like
Is
you?
what it is. I mean, the basic gist is not every single job is going to see combat. Not every single job is going to put them in a position when they're in a lot of danger necessarily. But we all acknowledge that, and we all understand that we are cogs in a system, and all of our jobs at the end of the day. My sister, for example, she was in the military. She was TMO, transport, moving, logistics management. I can't remember what the acronym was, but basically what my sister's job when she was in the military was when service members were moving from base to base, it was her job to set up the logistics of their move, whether it was a large group transport deploying, going on a TDY, going on a mission, or if it was a move of a service member going to a different base. That job, even when she's deployed, is not going to necessarily see a lot of action, so to speak. That doesn't mean her service is diminished. That doesn't mean what my sister did in the military was not honorable, or, because she didn't get shot at, quote unquote. That being said, should my sister have ever faked that she had done anything like that? Should I have ever faked anything that I had ever done? Knowing our brothers and sisters actually go through a lot of the things that we either do or say, it's disgusting. It's fraud. I came up with a really great analogy that I was talking about in a space and it escaped me. But to say that you did something for a political talking point that people look at in this country as honor is the most shameful thing you can do. And being somebody that had been in the military as long as he did, the problem is everybody in the military, as soon as they hear that, they know exactly what type of human being he is and the exact kind of troop he was when he served. He was the guy that threw you under the bus, more than likely. He was the guy that was the first one to try to get out of, the additional work. It's just those types of people in the military, they're rats. They're gross.
Heather, does the comments he made about serving in war lend more credence to the idea that he backed out ahead of time? Because people, some people were saying the timeline was kind of weird. He knew he was going to be deployed, so he retired.
Right.
But even though he retired, like he planned on retiring like 3 months before the deployment. But does the he lied once, so he's the kind of person that would make that move? Does that seem more likely than his unit just happened to get deployed months after he
No,
retired?
because number one, the rank that he was at while he was serving in that last time was the highest enlisted that you could be. And he was guard. And guard and reserves deployments, typically, depending on what branch, they do operate a little bit differently than active duty. So, for example, a guard unit, we are not in a super time of war. So you are going to know when these taskings come down the pike. You know this. When there was a guard unit that I was affiliated with the Red Horse unit, there was an active duty unit and there was a guard unit. The guard unit always knew where they were falling in their rotation to deploy. So though they're being very specific the way that they say the paperwork didn't come down. Okay, true. The orders were probably not dated till 2 months before they knew that they were going to deploy, which is typical of a guard unit. That being said, that doesn't mean that the chatter hadn't been coming down before those orders and that paperwork came. I don't know an insider, but I would wager a lot of money that Tim Waltz knew exactly when this deployment was coming and chose to put his retirement paperwork in. That's my guess.
Which
I
you
don't
know
know
what?
anybody from the
Which
Minnesota Guard. I'm sure if I really wanted to do a deep dive, I could track somebody down. But you know, I was in for 15 years, so I could potentially, but it's not.
Well,
He's
Heather, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
oh no, go on. Sorry, I feel like I've
No,
talked too
no
much.
problem. Mike, you need to mute when others are talking because we're getting the reverb of your mic. And then Heather, what's his name? Mark Nutton and Crypto Lawyer actually had guys from Waltz's unit in
Yeah.
a Twitter space, and we did it for like, I don't know, like an hour and a half. And it wasn't just him like dereliction of duty, like not going to war when he was supposed to go to war. It was dereliction of duty and weird leadership stuff all the way along the line. It wasn't just a single instance.
So here's what people also need to realize when it comes to when Guard and Reservist, right? Because these are citizen service members. So they aren't changing duty stations every 2 to 7 years, let's say, like in an active duty unit. And when that happens, you get a fresh changeover of leadership, right? It doesn't necessarily get stale. Officers are going to switch bases, higher enlisted are going to switch bases, everything, you know, it's a bummer when you have a great commander and they leave, and it's a blessing when you have a crappy commander and it's their time to leave. But the problem in Guard and Reserve units is that leadership does not filter out. He was in that same unit for 24 years, which makes it even worse because he's probably worked his entire career with these same people for over 2 decades, and he left them hanging.
that's wild.
Hey, Jen, how's the volume sound now?
Better.
Wow.
I mean, there's been some
Better?
reverb, a little bit.
Well, I don't know what the hell's going on.
Hey,
I don't know
Gary.
why. It was great until you guys all showed up.
Well, Mike, I think it's just the fact that like you're listening without headphones. So when it's coming into your studio so you can hear it, it's reverberating back into the mic. And that's why we're hearing the echo of all of our voices as we're speaking.
You still hear it right now? It should have the echo cancellation should be on right now.
I think it sounds way better now.
Okay.
Not as bad as it was. When Heather was speaking, it was you could really hear it.
Somebody in the Twitter,
That's
somebody in
what
the
Heather
Twitter,
does, though.
somebody in the Twitter chat said Guard members knew of the deployment a minimum of a year in advance. The location would have been 60 days. Would have been within 60 days of the deployment. Does that sound accurate based on what you know, Heather?
Yeah, because the orders need to be cut. Service members need orders in order to get their affairs in order. Not to keep using that word, but orders is basically a piece of paper that you get that says officially the military is sending me here. So if you need to pay stop a cell phone bill, if you need to pause stop another bill, you use your orders before you deploy to pause those bills, you know, so you don't get charged. If there's there's many reasons why you need those orders. And yes, they would probably have gotten them 2 months ahead of time. And that's my point. If you listen to the way that they are wording this, they're being very careful to word it. Well, we didn't get the paperwork till 2 months. No shit. But you got word. But a lot of that communication, you know, is going to be very encrypted. It'll probably have some sort of, you know, this is from what, 15 years ago? There's not going to be copies of
It was
any
like
sort of communication.
It was like 2003, right? And what they're saying is that he put his paperwork in. So Heather, if I'm in the military, right, and I'm in the Guard and I want to retire, right? From the time I put my paperwork into what is the retirement process, right? Because they're saying that he put his paperwork in, then they got the deployment orders, but because he was retiring, like he didn't go.
Now, he could have still gone. Chances are he probably could have still gone. So it's going to work differently for active duty, and it's also going to work differently for Guard, and it's going to work differently for Reserve because it depends on where your enlistment is. It depends on where your time in service is. There's a lot of different boxes you have to check in order to be, you know, once you hit your 20 years, that's obviously the goal. But there are some stipulations because if you re-enlisted at, let's say, your 18-year mark for 4 more years, you're still contractually obligated to serve now at least 22 years because you made that commitment. But if you know when your ETS is happening, your I know these acronyms, but I have a hard time translating sometimes to civilian. That's basically when the end of your service is. Your estimated termination of service is your ETS. That's kind of a window of time. So no, he could have won. He could have retired easily post deployment. He put in his paperwork. I mean, he again, in my opinion, he knew that this was coming.
So my question is, right, this is 2003, I think, or 2001,
Yeah.
right?
Just-
Or whenever it was, right? Wasn't there a declaration of war? Like, would the military be retiring people as we're sending all of our troops, like, over to the Middle East?
I believe the stop loss order came because I had quite a few friends that were. I actually just went to her retirement ceremony like a year ago. She was supposed to get out of active duty. She got stop loss right after 9/11, and I want to say that went on for at least a year. But what was happening during that time frame is we were getting it was pretty dangerous over there in Iraq and Afghanistan in those times. You know, when I went in the later 2000s of I did 2 deployments. I did one to Iraq, one to Afghanistan. But those years of 2003 to 2005, 2006, 2007, those were some very tough years for our military in both of these engagements. And again, it speaks volumes that this was a deployment that he got out of.
Heather, can you explain to everyone what is a stop loss? Because
So
I know I didn't know till I asked you.
Yeah. So stop loss basically, and I hope I don't butcher this. Stop
know there
loss
was a movie
basically
about it.
happens. So if you are slated to get out of the military, you're retiring, you are, you know, your enlistment's coming to an end, so you are now going to go back to civilian life. If there is something major that happens, like 9/11 is what instigated stop loss. If there is another huge all-out war that breaks out, they can basically put in a stop loss, which means even if you have a date that you were supposed to separate, leave, get out of the military, that is null and void until the military says you can exit.
Wow, that is
Mm-hmm.
that's intense.
Well,
So
and that's
Yeah.
what was happening during this time. So it just boggles my mind that he would be allowed to retire as his entire unit. And I want to say they were in one of the bloodiest battles over
Yeah. And here's the deal. What kind of leader was he that they allowed him to retire before deployment?
That's what I was gonna say. Like
Mhm.
the people in his unit were thrilled not to have like Sergeant Major dipshit like on the battlefield with them. There's no doubt about it. Like it was a relief to the guys not to have like Commander dipshit, Mr. Right, like be there. Otherwise, they don't cut him loose. There's no way.
I'm getting a very like Captain Sobel vibe from
Yes,
Band of Brothers.
thank you. Yes, that was the analogy that I was looking for. Right when all of this happened. If you want to understand what type of person Tim Waltz is, watch Band of Brothers.
You should watch Band of Brothers anyway. Just 'cause
You
it's
should watch
awesome.
Band of Brothers anyways. I watch it at least once a year, sometimes twice if I'm feeling frisky. But I highly suggest that you watch it. And I am not going to talk about Captain Sobel, but you will know who he is, and that is Tim Waltz to a freaking T is Captain Sobel.
Well, if you're curious, just imagine what Ross from Friends would be like in the military. Because I assume that's probably the same person.
I would have preferred Ross because at least Ross would have been honest that he didn't know shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he'd have
Whereas-
been like,
Well-
"Look, I was on a break."
Pivot.
Well, let's not act
Pivot.
like they. Oh, sorry, Mike.
No, I'm just. I was doing my Ross impersonation of Pivot, but it didn't.
It
Hold
didn't
on,
land.
hold on. The
Yeah.
question is, was Ross and Rachel on a break?
They were on a break.
They
They
were
were
on a break.
they were definitely on a break.
Yes.
Well, let's not act like he left the service and just, went into the sunset. He immediately ran for Congress, didn't he?
And this story was squelched by a local newspaper. There were people from his unit that actually wrote a letter while he was running for governor think it was governor, wasn't it? Was it governor or
Yeah,
Congress?
no, I
Congress.
think it was it Congress or governor, but the guy, when we interviewed, because I was on the space with them when they interviewed them, those guys freaking hated that guy. Hated him. Terrible leader. Like, did not lead at all. Then he immediately uses his position, and when he ran for Congress, right, the whole thing is he said that he saw battle. Right. So when he's running, he's acting like he's a combat veteran. Oh, I did this. Da, da, da. Come to find out, you left your unit. Your unit went to combat, but you, sir, dropped out to run for Congress. So no, sir, you are not a combat veteran.
Well, and here's my question is like, so when I was stationed in Germany, I had a side job bartending at the enlisted club on base. And I loved doing that job because even though I was in Germany, I should have been traveling, which I did get to do, but I worked a lot. And when I would bartend, I was at Spangdahlem Air Force Base, where a ton of planes would come from deployments, planefuls of Marines, full of Army, full of, Air Force, Navy, whatever. And we were usually their stop before they were able to go back home. And so they hadn't drinking, they'd come to the bar, I'd be working, and I'd really get to meet a lot of these people. And obviously having served with them. But the big thing is, it's just, he left. There's so many like nuances to the piece of crap that this man is that it's hard to like really like nail just one down. But it's just sad to see that somebody that had put in that amount of time and claimed to, do the things that he said that he actually didn't do, and how he just let everybody down. Because there were people that were let down by him when he chose not to deploy with them.
So Heather, Dustin made a comment earlier where he was saying, basically, God bless that freaking thought. Just you were talking about, you're talking about walls. God bless America. Freaking Dustin and his comments. They went in my brain and they burrowed their way in and burrowed their way out. Oh my God bless. Freaking. How does well, let me ask you this. How in the hell does a guy like Walls get vetted by that group? And I remember now what it was. You had said that they just didn't have anybody else left, right? There was nobody else to go to. And that's why Walls kind of stepped in here, right? And now when we look at these things, he's using grammar as an excuse as to why some of these things, my teachers always told me I was bad at grammar. What?
Well, the thing about Mike is, again, one of the vice president is all risk, no reward. Right? Nobody votes for who the vice president is, but they will not vote based on who you choose to be your number two. And
Right.
so the issue is, one of the things that we've seen happen, and like one of the things you learn early in politics, is that you don't want somebody on your ticket who upstages you, which means they can't be as charismatic. They cannot be like better spoken. They cannot offer a better vision. Well, you've got a top of the ticket who, well, let's just say she reminds me of like when I would not like study for like an essay and I needed to turn it in a hurry, and I needed like, it's got to be 1,000 words. And so you add like 40 extra words to every sentence, right? Like, well, I know I was supposed to learn about Susan B. Anthony, and Susan B. Anthony, she was a woman whose ladies-like features would often lead her towards the kind of life that would get her on
more
to
descriptors. So like more descriptors. You gotta be
right,
like
just
big,
literally
A whole
blue,
lot of
throwing
adjectives.
extra words in,
babbling
because
brook.
otherwise I'm never getting to 1,000 words. And
You just
so-
say in terms of every once in a while.
Nevertheless.
And like I
Never-
said,
Yeah, but it's 3 words, not one. Nevertheless.
yeah,
Right, but who's walking through that door who is not upstaging Kamala in some important way?
well, and plus, and they didn't want to throw it away. I mean, one, I don't think Newsom or Shapiro. I think there's probably obviously more to the Shapiro thing about him being Jewish. Like that's probably, I would imagine there's something there, like in reality. Especially if you're going to try to.
I mean, think about this. He's the third most popular governor in the state. In a state Democrats can't win without.
You have to have it. It literally could be the state that wins you the entire election, like Kevin's saying.
Yeah, like Democrats
I was
can't
worried
win
about
without
that.
it.
I mean, Kevin, were you? I mean, you were.
Yeah.
Were you nervous at all if she was to pick Shapiro? Like you might.
100%. I thought that if she picked Shapiro, this was a whole different ballgame because look, Trump can win without Pennsylvania. Democrats can't win without it.
But how do you think they're going to get around the fracking thing in Pennsylvania?
I think that I think that that's another thing is that I think if they pick Shapiro, fracking goes out the window. That question is then removed because he doesn't get elected governor without. Oh, look, obviously I support fracking. I picked the fracking governor, but because they picked, I mean, look, your vice president, and I truly believe this, your vice president has to give you something you don't have, and I think this is the one election where that isn't happening on either side of the ticket. I think that JD is maybe the heir apparent, younger, to MAGA. I think that's maybe what Trump was going for. But I don't know what Tim Walz gets Kamala Harris, either a state, a demographic, or an age thing. I mean, you go all the way back. Go back as far as you want.
They won Minnesota. What, Kevin? Maybe like 40 years or something like that?
Yeah, they've won Minnesota. It was never a swing state until Trump Clinton. It was always a blue state. So it's like, I don't know what that would be like. Here we go. That would be like Trump picking DeSantis. What do you don't get anything electorally out of that. I mean, look at Kennedy and Johnson. Those two hated each other, but Kennedy had to win Texas. Obama needed somebody establishment wise to change the fact that he was the new kid on the block, so he picks Biden. George Bush has no national security experience. He picks Dick Cheney, and you can go right the way down the line on that one. Bill Clinton doesn't win Florida without Al Gore, and you just boom, 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 right the way back. And unfortunately, not unfortunately, but this is the first election where I don't see that. Trump has to know he has Ohio locked up. JD won it by 12 points.
Well, I think he's got a shot at Philadelphia, but I want to welcome my boy Gary Cardone to the stage. What's up, Gary? What's up, brother? I see you shaking your head at some of these comments, man. We just shooting the breeze. We're just lounging around in here. You know what I'm saying? Just talking about life a little bit,
Dude, I just came back from the room that they're talking about Ed and Brian, and
tell us what
how's
your take
that
is.
going? Yeah,
Tell us about that.
Well, I'll tell you, I am really not one to criticize or judge because I've had enough people throw shit at me, and it's just not nice. So, but I will tell you, as far as those two guys, their behavior has stunk from day one that I've ever met. For me, that's just my opinion. I'm willing to stick my opinion on the I look at the world as I live in a toilet, and the question is, how clean is the toilet? Do I allow just a bunch of gangsters to come in here and they never clean up behind themselves? So I just don't want to be close to that kind of stuff. And then when I hear this, I'm like, ooh, now this is matching behavior. But they're going through a lot. I mean, I saw Des. She's like for me, the red flags. It should almost be illegal for any government to attack a human being if they have no red flags in their life. Right? Like, why would you do that? Just out of the blue, somebody went crazy. Come on, man. There's always red flags. And I've never had a bunch of porn sites. I've never had one porn site. I have gone to porn sites, in fairness, but I have never owned a porn site. Right?
It's always been my dream.
Thanks, Kevin, for that.
It's always been
GaryCardonePorn.com.
Ever since I was a little kid, I was like, you know what? I'd love to have a porn site.
A porn site. I'd love to own it.
That's gonna get cut when I run for a Republican primary right there.
Look, Mom,
I
did it.
feel like Hunter Biden's gonna get wrapped up in this story somehow, because that was
that'd be
Hunter's
great.
thing.
Oh my
they
God,
find
can
it on
you
the crashing
imagine if-
What a
laptop.
great twist.
Exactly. They
Casualty
knew the
laptop.
whole time.
Who do you think was taking the pictures, right? You know what I mean?
I just, Kevin, you got to update. Like in the modern age, it's not owning a porn site. You want to do an OnlyFans agency. OnlyFans agency.
I think
That's-
there's two guys in Romania that tried that and it didn't end very well. I'm not saying, I could be wrong, but I would say that those Ferraris are definitely not going to drive themselves.
I have to step away. I don't know if y'all will still be on.
You wanna bet?
My in-laws have my son tonight, so I'm going to go have dinner with my husband. But if y'all are here later, I will say hello.
Absolutely, and I appreciate you showing up. We told
Hey.
Des and I were talking about you being here, so we're very thankful that you were that you graced us with your presence.
Thanks for the invite.
Well, Heather, we're doing a conspiracy space later if you want to stop by.
Oh, hell yeah.
Good to
Yes.
meet you, Heather.
You too, sir. Actually, I think we might even follow each other on
I think we do.
the old Twitter.
Yeah,
It's-
and when I saw you here, I'm like, I think that's that chick with the gun. That's her. Good on you, sister. Good on you.
It's right back here, but the last time I was on a live stream and I showed my guns, I got yelled at. So
Yeah.
they're all around.
Heather definitely loves her weapons.
Oh, Kevin came to visit. We went to a concert together.
Yeah, and she was like, "Do you want a gun?" And I was like, for what? I'm from New York. I don't know what those are."
Oh, yeah,
She's like, "Just in case something happens." And I was like, "What's gonna happen?"
we were like pushing. We felt like gun pushers. We're like, it's legal. You can carry it around. Just throw it, And he's just like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm definitely good.
Wait,
First time-
Kevin, can you please explain what it is like growing up in New York and your relationship with guns?
Honestly, it's not a part of our lives. I don't. It's almost like when you've never had a pet, and people are like, "How?" And then you see people
Exactly.
you see people with their pets, and you're like, "Why are you so obsessed?" And then you finally get a dog, and you're like, "I can't go out with you. I have to take care of the dog." And you're like, "What?" Like that's exactly how I felt. Because, like I said, it's like never eating. It's like never eating a food. You don't know what you're missing, but once you have it and you find out that it looks awesome sitting on your hip, you're gonna want one. But I live in New York, and we don't get to have that. The only way you get a gun in New York is if you are a gang member. So
Okay. I have tried to explain this to so many people, right? Because when I first started dating Dustin, right, he's Mr. Patriot, Mr. Second Amendment, like doing Second Amendment rallies all over the country. And I'm like, wait, you can open carry a gun? Like, it's normal to carry a gun at Target? Like, this is a normal thing? Like, they're not coming here to shoot up the store? Like, what's happening?
I went to Dallas for the opening of the Texas Stadium with my dad. He's a big Dallas Cowboy fan. I'm a Giants fan, and we're down there in the morning, and I don't know, we're at Denny's or a Waffle House or some chain breakfast place, and the waiter was strapped, and I couldn't really process why he would have a gun on him. I'm like, we're at Denny's. Like, how many people are running out on a $12 breakfast bill that you need a gun on you? And it was just mind blowing to me. And then we went to the game, and I saw all these Texas girls with guns, and I thought about selling my return ticket and never going home because I fell in love every single tailgate as I went down the row. But it's just like I said, it's not. It's not. I mean, I have weapons, but we don't even really shoot out here. I have a shotgun and some kind of rifle. I just bought it during COVID because everybody else was buying them. But it's not.
It's not common. It's not commonplace. Like,
it's so weird. It's so weird because it takes 3 years to get a pistol permit in the state of New York.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which, to me, makes no sense because if you are really wanting to ban weapons of war or whatever the hell that means, I don't have an option but to buy an AR-15. I can't just go buy a handgun, leave it in like my counter for protection. I have to buy what Democrats would dub an assault rifle because I don't have another option for that. So what ends up happening is you'll see bodega owners in Brooklyn and Queens getting robbed, and they go to pull out a shotgun from underneath the countertop because that's all they're allowed to have. And by the time they pull it out, they're dead.
Yeah,
and like Kevin said, like at least when grew up in New York, right? You were taught like only either gangsters have guns or the police have guns. Like, why else would you need a gun? Like, they're for dangerous people. Like, it is like it is mashed into your mind.
Yeah, it is. Like I said, it's just not a. But like when I went down to with to the concert with Heather and Brett, like it was not. It was everyone had a weapon, so it was like walking into that. I was like, wow, this is like real. I mean, we were in where the hell did we go? We went to Mobile, Alabama, and needless to say, everyone knew immediately I was not from there. But it was it was an interesting sort of culture shock when they were like, "Oh, do you want a gun?" And I was like, "Why would I want one of those? Like, what am I gonna do with that?" And then I'm thinking, I'm like, "Yeah, I'll be drinking a lot like this weekend, so maybe." It's probably not the best idea.
It's like, but the thing is, though, is down here. Like when I was raised, it was never even brought up. It was just left around. Like, you know, well, he was a cop, you know, but his pistol was still. It was just in a drawer.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, guns and rifles later. Like, it wasn't uncommon to see, you know, that if I'm a little kid going to ride my bike, you know, or something like that, and see some truck up at the high school parking lot that had a rifle in its window. Back in the 70s, you know, late 70s, that was nothing. I mean, that was literally nothing. Like, you might break in somebody's truck and take their 8 tracks of the exhibit. You wouldn't take their freaking rifle. Like, you would literally just leave it. Like, that's
so weird.
It's weird.
I mean, to me, it's like, it's not, I don't mean weird. I mean, foreign to me, you know?
It was respect, dude.
It was a set of rules that you played by. I guess,
even like I went down to CPAC Dallas, and I stayed at my buddy Luke's house, and I was like, he like asked me to grab him a lighter or like a cigar cutter out of his center console, and as I'm reaching, there's just a gun there. I was, what are you doing, bro? Like, what it's like in 8 Mile when they're like, bro, what are you doing with a gun? Like, I was like, what the hell?
Hey Gary, growing up in Louisiana, I imagine it was like that with you guys down there. I mean, we're right next door to each other.
Bro, Grant and I had a gun by the time we couldn't have been 9, buddy. I mean, real gun. Carrying around a real gun in the woods, shooting it. I must have killed
every kid had a 22, right? I mean,
yeah, well, just like people in the South just killed a bunch of stuff, you know. And then I started feeling sorry for all the stuff I killed. Then I realized that humans are far worse than animals. Why am I shooting? Like, I love guns. I probably have a few more weapons than most everybody here. But I mean, I don't stroke them, Kevin, all the time. See, I think that's if I'm going to bed at night with my holster on my fatty thigh and I'm oiling the old gun, you know, right before midnight.
Are we still talking about guns?
I would say, yeah, exactly. See my point? I would say I might have a problem, but you know, if I'm a collector of guns and I have a gun in a few rooms or many rooms in my house, just in case, I mean, does that make me a bad guy? I don't, you know.
Well, even like in New York, there are so many restrictions on like AR style rifles or whatever that it's almost not even worth having. Like, we have to have the clip pinned in the rifle and you load it from the top.
The magazine, my boy. It's not a clip.
Yeah, or see, I don't know what the hell. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I'm proud to be the most
Braziers, dude. Okay,
I'm proud to be the most ignorant person here. Yeah,
but do you have a shower gun, Gary? Like, you really don't have the complete arsenal until you have.
Bro, who doesn't have a shower gun?
See, now I'm
just thinking. Serious?
Now I'm just thinking of Biggie. Now I'm thinking of Biggie. I got a shotty by the shower if you want to shoot me while I'm shitting.
when you're most vulnerable. You gotta have a shower gun. You have not really thought through home defense until you have a shower gun.
Now
I
I'm
think
just
that's true, actually. A
And
bathtub or a shower gun.
refrigerator gun. Don't forget
now I
about
got
a
Biggie stuck in my
refrigerator gun.
head.
Two
Okay,
large
you should be
dogs.
able to kill them without a gun. Be creative.
Two
just
large dogs.
Fling
Deploy
poo at 'em
dog
like monkeys.
first.
Yeah. Hey, welcome to the stage, Mr. 30 Below. How you doing up there in Alaska, brother?
Is it cold up there? There must be.
Your mic's
30 below
muted.
in the atmosphere.
Can you guys hear me?
Like a
Yeah.
champ, like a charm.
Hi, friends. Long time no see. What's going
wow.
on?
Just making it happen, man. Talking
Wow.
about some hey, and 30 Below, I want to get you I want to go back to Gary real quick, and then I want you to chime in on this as well. Gary, you were talking about the Krasensteins thing, man, and I don't I don't want to blow it over because I think it's big. I think it's a big issue. I really do. And I was asking Dustin about this earlier. Wanted to see what you thought. When you see imagine if you saw the word Cardone, porn, and pedophiles together in the same set. Like, that's something in my mind. I'll never see the Krasensteins the same. Even if I don't listen to the audio, don't watch it. Now it's in my
Are you
head,
feeling
and
bad
I don't
for them for the
know if they
label?
come back from that.
Are you
You know?
feeling bad for their labels?
I feel
Because
no.
I'll push back on that because it's like, first off, we live in cancel culture. Like, people get accused of things every day now. It's almost to the point where it's almost pointless. It doesn't really mean anything to anyone until there's receipts, until they see some. So there's got to be some receipts, or else this wouldn't even matter.
I'm not worried about them. What I'm saying is that when you put those words together, just even in an accusation, an accusatory form, like, I'm going to see them right now.
That's
From
the
now
point.
on, I'm not getting that out of my
That's
head.
the
You know what I'm
point,
saying?
though.
Like, that's just the way I see it.
I don't know. Maybe I'm like cruel about it, but I'm like, that's the point.
I'm surprised anybody didn't pick up on this a year ago.
That's what I'm saying.
Because I was talking about this a year ago before I got permanently banned on X, when they were making comments about exposing themselves to their young children, the pride shows. Like, I was talking about this on their accounts, and then Ed decided in his infinite wisdom to follow me, and then the next day I was banned on X for 3.5 months. So this is something that I've actually been attacking them for a while over, and it was actually Kim who told me, you need to stop before you get yourself in trouble. So I've kind of just backed away from this entire situation for like better part of 9 months.
Gary, what do you think about when you were over there listening? Like, what does it change your? Because they come across as really sweet, right? They're sweet, nice. They talk like this, and no, guys, I think that's not. I don't think we were trying to do anything like. That's how they talk.
Okay, I get the next opinion after Gary then, because
No, I don't think they don't talk nice and sweet. I don't hear that. I hear very acidic, very conflating. Like, if you listen very carefully, okay, they're not there to solve anything. They're there to pour acid all over the place. And people that do that are either being paid, money motivated, and they've lost their mind, or they're fucking psychotic criminals, dude. I mean, it's just the behavior, okay? I'm not a judge, but to your point, Mike, every advertiser's looking at them right now going, whoa.
Yeah.
Their business.
They're eyeliner away from being a duo of Jeffrey Marsh's.
I don't know about that. I don't know what that means, but their revenue model sure got impacted. And,
Mike, I got to jump out of here real quick. I know we did cut you off, Gary.
Yeah,
Guys,
you
thank
did.
you so much
you
for having me.
meant to, dude. See, well, you don't do that in Louisiana, son. We'll cut
Say,
your damn
hey,
hand
you
off
can't be talking about you ain't carrying, Kevin, and start.
that behavior.
Yeah, I got no weapon on me. I got Jack Johnson and Tom O'Leary. Right, that's about it.
Jack. There we go. Okay, but hey, bro, I appreciate you coming out, man. Fantastic. And
Thanks
we will
for
do
having
this
me,
again soon, bro.
Take care.
All right, boy. Yeah, we got another.
I got
another
Smith and Wesson.
Jack Johnson and.
Did you get it, dude? Did you get my Smith and Wesson joke?
I did. I thought you were referring to your.
my neighbor's dogs are named after guns, all of them. There's
Testicles.
Cole and Remington. They had another one. I forgot what it was called. But
Oh, those are good
passed away.
boys. Good boys.
Remington is always running amok. Always. He's in my yard. He does whatever he wants. He's old.
So Des, you've had
dogs.
interactions with the Krasensteins, like multiple ones.
Oh yeah, and spaces.
And what are your thoughts?
Well, Ed follows me. I don't, which is weird because I don't follow him. I don't follow either of them because I don't like to see their shit because
They both follow me.
Bacon
I'm just saying.
and really, Brian? Oh, you're
I'm
on his
saying,
list.
Little smile, little wink, little nod, little charm.
No, they're trash people. We talked about this in the last lounge that we can't give people like them our attention because that's how they win. But
it's hard. Look, I'm not gonna go. I don't want to go in there. I don't want to go in those sites. I don't want to go in those freaking. I don't want to go in those sites where Israel is freaking Satan. But if that's what they're talking about, and I see Krasenstein porn website and pedophile, I'm like, what the heck is going on here? And how do you not? It's almost impossible to turn away from that kind of. I mean, if anybody can recover from this, it would probably be those two cats, man.
Well, I
Nothing
think
will
it's gonna. Yeah, I think
Yeah, I
exactly.
agree.
Nothing's gonna happen. What happened with
I
the
hate-
insert erection in the Capitol? Remember that? The guys
Yeah.
are boning right there in one of the most prestigious rooms in the world. And nothing
Nothing
happened.
happens.
The guy got fired quietly, and no one knows who the pitcher was in that situation. If you can use that.
Well,
language.
that's just it, Des. That's the point. Nothing happens anymore. Nothing
That's
happens. Like there's no worry.
The
There's no
system
worry
is
about
broken.
anything.
The system is beyond broken. It is what it is. It's the band that's playing music while the Titanic has already hit the iceberg and the fucking thing is sinking. That's what it is. It's just like, oh, that's nice, but it's not actually doing anything.
Put up a sign in front of your store saying if you steal more than $950,
Exactly.
it could be bad. But if you steal less than that, like it's cool though.
Like Kamal saying, don't come. Just don't come. When she was down in Guatemala or whatever it was. And she's just
Don't
like,
come
that's
here.
gonna make them stop. Thanks, Kamala. You did a great job. You nailed it. Order
Don't do it.
crisis solved. No.
Dustin could barely keep himself.
That will be good.
You were good.
Don't
You were
come.
good, Dustin.
Don't
You were really
come.
good right there. By the way, if everybody looks at Dustin, look at the nice glow that he's got there. That lighting is very.
Baroque.
Yeah,
Very cozy.
you guys like how Jen adjusts my lighting throughout?
I know she's adjusting. I know I get text from her. She's adjusting
I've had
all
it
of
And
it.
by the way,
down.
brought me dinner. Right? So, has done all of the production work, made sure, it's getting dark, I better bring a light out, and brought me dinner. All in the last 20 minutes. It's a beautiful thing.
So, Gary, one more thing I want to ask you, and 30 Below will get you on this too, is we were talking about this and, the clip. I don't know if you saw the Kamala interview on CNN. But
I watched 2 minutes of it.
yeah, so the aesthetics, so I was noticing when you got up earlier and left the screen, I was looking at your chair, and your chair has a really nice contrasted color with your background. Right. You have the colors of the stuff that you have painted in the background. That chair it just stands out. Right. It looks, the lighting's good. That face, not so much, but whatever. But your setup, even like you and Sam are doing shows, it's good. Who would have somebody set up in a dark diner where you're literally slumped over like this while that big bozo looking clown guy is just reflecting all the light off his white skin and hair? And somebody says, let's go with that. Let's do this. Yes. You know what I'm saying? You had to see that knowing what is. And then at the bottom, Gary, I don't know if you noticed this, but right above CNN, it said live. It wasn't live. It was taped, and yet they specifically put that logo up there to say live. And I think it's little things like that just go unchecked in the world, but it's deceptive as if she's doing a live interview and the interview is edited. Dustin, is there any way that thing goes on air without being edited? No.
You can see, if you watch closely, the jump cuts and edits.
Yeah.
And there is zero doubt based on how terrified, how weak Dana was, and
Weak.
that they negotiated final approval of the final edit. There's no
Yeah.
doubt about it.
And the thing is also Dana, she kept going, Madam Vice President, if this were to happen, do you see yourself doing A, possibly B, or would you go and possibly engage in a very tactical C measure? Like, what would you do in that situation? It's like she's literally feeding the answers to her.
Yeah, the
But
same
her
lady.
value.
If I can say, that's by the same lady whose boss and the company she works for took a $10 billion write down. Let's remind everyone, Elon paid 44. Shit, man, X is starting to look like it might be priced correctly. A 1 quarter, $10 billion write down. We're winning this game, guys. We need more cameras, more videos. And, you know, the next president of the United States is not going to do a debate. They're going to come on this screen. They're going to answer my questions and your questions. This is game over, man. As long as we let the Brazilian thing, all of this is happening right now. It's going to happen in the next 89 days. Okay. The next 88 days of our life is like so colossally important. It like we should probably be running. You know, I was thinking about the Christensen brothers because they were talking about, you know, how many followers these people have. I mean, can you imagine what Grant and I could do if we did something together? Right? I've literally not done it because I didn't want any kind of like, hey, it gets really fuzzy, like who's doing what. So anyway, looking at all those followers, I'm like, you know, the people that are actually telling the truth here, like I see Mario now, man. Mario is actually stepping up going, whoa, I'm going to have to pick a fucking side.
Yeah, that's a good call.
Oh, dude, everybody's going to have
Has
to pick
he
a
really?
side. You know what?
I haven't noticed.
Mark Zuckerberg
I don't watch his thing.
is picking sides right now. Mark Zuckerberg probably looked at all the statistics inside of Facebook. This is my thesis, okay? Scummy little fuck. He went in and looked at all the data on Facebook and went, fucking Trump's going to win, dude. Trump's going to win. I gave them 300 million. And I actually now have to tell everybody I actually did some bad shit. We're all going to end up confessing it, Google and everyone. Let me jump run this thing, say it was the Biden's fault. I cannot believe what Zuckerberg did. I can't believe his board allowed it. Yeah, but I think if you don't, the consequences here are just the beginning. Okay, like there's so many now. Like the players are turning on each other. The parasites are going to start attacking each other. I'm quite certain of that, and that's really exciting, guys. But it's going to be freaking rough.
Stop with that picture. It's so creepy, man.
But look what it says. Look what it says right here. Mark Zuckerberg claims he didn't realize that the $400 million his wife spent during the 2020 election swung the vote and helped the Democratic Party in Biden.
Well, the
dude,
problem
what about
what
about the vaccine stuff, dude? Okay, he knew he suppressed data. Like Mark Zuckerberg, somebody's going to go, "Hey, you're responsible for 1,000 people's death." Someone is going to make that claim, and it's like a legitimate. Hey, I can't sue the pharmaceutical companies legally by federal mandate by the government that gives the insurance companies like a waiver, an umbrella of insurance for them to move out of their way and go do a vaccine, right? Because it's so expensive and it takes so long. So you can't sue the pharmaceutical companies in a class action like this, but you can damn sure sue the government, or you could sue Mark Zuckerberg. You could sue any platform that, what are they saying? Telegram? The guy in Telegram's in jail right now? Well, what's the difference? We have Mark Zuckerberg at Facebook the same week saying, I put bad data out there. I move kids and women out there. Guns have actually trafficked over Facebook. If you look deeply enough, all the advertising crime going on, Google, Facebook, and they mismanaged the information on January 6th. They mismanaged the information on the other 11th, August the 11th. Okay. And MSM's falling apart. Dude, this is exciting. But talking about guns, I think we're getting very close to kinetic activity. It's too much going on now. I mean, when Elon Musk is concerned, I would be concerned about flying into France. If I fly over Brazil going to Chile, can I not be on Skype? Can I not be on Twitter? Have I violated a federal law of another country?
Good call. Yeah, that's
I got a blue
Well-
passport. I thought the blue passport allowed me some freedom of like, nobody's going to fuck with me. I cannot say that now.
Well, what's crazy is it
money's going to
wasn't.
slow down now.
It wasn't just the it's okay. It wasn't just the Telegram CEO, right? He got arrested, but apparently the Rumble CEO was also in Europe and hightailed it out before they came and grabbed him. That's what they reported, at least.
Correct. And rightly so. Rightly so. I would not go into the UK. I mean, I lived there for 14 years. I wouldn't go there right now. I would be scared that they would look. Well, I know. I have had people from Ireland and London send me notes on LinkedIn. Hey, dude, you're being too aggressive, or, like, behave yourself. I'm like, fuck off. No, I'm not gonna fuck. I got your attention. Awesome. And this is what we all need to do. But we can't do what has happened to Ed and Brian. That's gonna haunt them for quite a while now, I think. And they don't want to go through that. I mean, I don't know the guys. I don't want to be friends with them, but I don't want to slash him if this is not true. I don't know the doctor either. I don't know if he is a doctor or what he's got. Could be we have to be really careful on these spaces, like not to start picking sides on this shit.
Dustin, do the Krasensteins go in spaces now and make comments about other topics with somebody not basically prefacing everything they say with, yeah, okay, pedophile porn site. Let me just talk. Like, can they go into these other spaces now and not just get lumped in with that? Like, that's going to be an attack point. Doc was killing them today in there.
The thing is, though, they will do what they always do. They will retreat to safe territory, which is they will host. Miley will host. It will be right like their ability to go out amongst the regular. But I don't know if you remember, but they came into the like early on. They would drop in the American mission spaces, and then I allowed everybody because Trash liked to do the we could talk to everybody thing, and I got fed up with it one day, and I was like, listen, I don't like having you guys up here, and I will only allow it, but I'm gonna let everybody give you a piece of their mind, and you're gonna listen to it. And they never came back. It was brutal for 2 hours. Where, and to their credit, they sat there and let everybody basically just tell them what's what. And it was a beautiful thing. Listen, they will retreat, but here's the problem. Everyone will still take the bait.
Yeah.
Right? So the problem is, if you go on my thesis of the last one, which is the problem is, they know that they are providing bait so that you feel good about dunking on them. Oh, it's so easy. Oh, look at what I just, now we just have more bait to dunk on them with, which means what? More engagement for the Krasensteins, right? Which is my boy Mac in his cowboy hat and Kiss shirt, right? Later tonight, he's going to drop the pedophile porn site and feel really, really good about himself for having done so. Right? And tell all of us about how he just smacked down Brian A. Krasenstein. He gave him the old pow. And again, it gets back to what I said. You have to remember that these are not people who have a sense of shame. They sadly were born without a sense of shame or developed no sense of shame. And so for them, I fully serious Dustin prediction here. They will start to bait all of you with stuff that allows you to bring that out and dunk on them. They're not going to run away from it. They're going to, what's the left say? Lean in to oh, look, we right. They'll get into the culture war stuff on the side of the OnlyFans hose or something. Watch, I'm telling you, it's coming.
So, Destiny, I wanted to address what you said about Dana Bash. real quick before we move on. Dana Bash's husband was one of the 45 intelligence agents that signed the letter for Hunter Biden's
weird.
laptop. And then on his thing,
So weird.
Jeremy V. Bash is an American lawyer. He was the chief of staff at the CIA from 2009 to 2011 and the Department of Defense from 2011 to 2013, and then under Barack Obama after that. He was senior advisor to Leon Panetta in both roles, and he, including the creation of a new defense strategy, formation of 2 defense budgets, counterterrorism operations, a new cyber strategy, and a range of sensitive intelligence operations. Right? So, like, the reason she was able to give like 3 different answers, like, would you do A, would you do B, or would you do C, right, is because I guarantee you her husband and the CIA were like, all right, you need to ask these questions, and she's probably not, smart enough to ask them. So you need to give them a multiple choice.
Well, Jen, she was looking down all night at that. Like, it was like, it'd be like if, and what I was going to say to Dustin earlier, just a second ago, was I remember, I guess it was a few weeks ago or so, you were talking about, not taking the bait. And it is the discipline, right? It is something to where you have to say, I have to not do as much as I would be intrigued by going in here and listening and engaging. It literally is something like, and I just posted something on the, about loving your enemies, and how it is very like, that's the hardest thing you can do, is to try to love your enemies, to try to tolerate your enemies. And it's like, I think as we get older and we find ourselves in these predicaments, Dustin, you're right. It takes some discipline, right? It takes some discipline to be able to say, no, I'm not today, Satan. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to go and let them infect me with that. I don't want to be seen in that room. I don't want and it may not mean anything at all, but it is something that you can say at the end of the day, I didn't do it. I didn't get baited in there. I didn't get that satisfaction, that dopamine hit about, like you said, just piling on them and feeling like, look what I did. I did something productive. I piled on the person who's literally trying to get me to pile on them. It's like, wait, who won that match?
Well, this is actually, right, this gets to the heart of what it means to actually win, which is, are we capable of making real life behavioral changes? And we were just talking about the Zuckerbot 3000. I built and had one of the largest networks, like, on Facebook. Started early. So several of the largest political pages, massive network, hundreds of millions of impressions a week, like, generated from that network. Well, guess what? When they started to censor me, when they started to, like, take sides in the election on behalf of the left, what'd I do? I stopped logging in, period. End of story, period. Which is, until you're willing to change your behaviors around these people who hate you, who want you dead, who censor you, right? Who would not blink if you disappeared off the face of the earth. They would cheer. Until you're willing to make those behavioral changes, then you're not really willing to, like, change things. Because if it's too much to ask that you stop logging into Facebook, if it's too much to ask that you stop, like, tuning in to all of these programs that poison our discourse, if it's too much to ask that you stop bringing Jared and freaking on stage, if that's too much to ask, then, right, like, what's too little to ask, right? Like, what could I possibly ask you to do that you would do other than, like, feel good on the internet like you're a warrior?
Well, even when we were talking about Brian and Ed earlier, they had said they had admitted to making a mistake, that they got duped by some people running a Ponzi scheme, that they still haven't caught those guys over in Russia or something like that. And I'm thinking to myself, this dude just admitted, yeah, he goes, I've made a mistake. I've made mistakes. Yes, I have. But I got
you like how they say they make mistakes, but they don't say they're sorry.
Yeah. But even the mistakes weren't even. Their mistake was that they got duped like the rest of us idiots who got duped by these evil people who they're not one of. You know, and so it's yeah, it's strange. 30 Below, you had any you ever had any interactions with the Krasensteins at all?
Where do you want me to start? So my first,
You're a fan of them? Or?
Hey, you know what? I never thought about streaming this to my audience. Also, do you want me to do that?
Yeah, throw it in there. We got about 30 minutes left. Throw it out there.
Can we make it exciting now?
Well, he didn't
What?
even give me a chance to talk about what I thought of Krasensteins. He's just you know them.
Yeah.
Trash. Trash, Mike.
You're
After you talk about the Krasensteins, I have a question for everybody because I don't know the answer.
My turn.
I didn't want to talk about
go ahead. I've had I don't hang out with the Krasensteins. I don't know them that much. I just thought that it was interesting that they I'd never heard of the freaking pedophile porn ring. You know what I'm saying? Like I did like that one kind of caught me off guard.
Right, it's the ambiguously gay duo, not the ambiguously gay trio, right, Mike?
Ambiguously gay duo, not
All
trio.
Well, then my question is it normal for government agencies such as, like, I don't know, the Department of Veterans or DHS or DOS, is it normal for them to donate hundreds of thousands of dollars to somebody's, like, political campaign?
I don't know. Gary donates a lot of money to people's campaigns. Gary, what do you think about that?
I'm
Gary's
sorry.
a politician now.
Yep. Yeah, that's me, silly Sally. I'll do whatever you need to say if you get me some votes, sister.
Clip that.
I thought that was funny. That's good. Hey, give me the executive summary of what she said. I am so sorry. I'm writing something to get this uploaded so that I can help you expand your audience, Mikey Mike.
So I saw a couple videos, right? And then I went to Open Secrets myself and checked it. So, for instance, the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs has given $217,420 to Kamala Harris. U.S. Department of Defense, $213,460. U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, $203,574. U.S. Department of State, $197,640. Right? That just seems weird that government agencies would be giving money to even like anything to do with politics.
So what's weird about that, Jana, is I have heard at least 10,000 times, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't donate to that campaign because I work for the government." So either somebody's been lying to me, or we have some shenanigans. But that's seriously like the go-to. If you were doing a DC fundraiser and somebody wanted to come and you're like, "Well, you got to donate $2,500 to the campaign," you're like, "Oh, bro, I would, but I work at DOD, and you guys know how it is. We have that policy." So again, that makes sense. You're telling me that the Biden administration has changed the rules to benefit themselves? Who could have seen this coming? It's terrible. My God. Oh my God. I think they're bad people, you guys. They're bad people. Mike,
say something. 30 Below. Sorry, 30 Below. Desi, jump in there. Say something.
I was gonna say with the Krasenstein stuff, it's my favorite thing of the last 2 years on X has been exposing these two frauds. And it started with Pride Month. I think it was 2021 when I started seeing them talk about how they were okay with their children being exposed to old men on bikes doing pride marches and stuff like that. And I really started going heavy on into like how suspicious it is that they would be advocating for that when they have young children. So what's going on now with all of this information coming out, it doesn't surprise me in one bit. But I wanted to say one thing that I think the tide is seriously shifting, because if you guys aren't aware right now, there's Brooklyn Dad and JoJo are currently streaming on YouTube, and between the two of them, they have 2 million followers, and they only have 66 people watching them right now. And here we are, a collective between us, 200,000, and I'm obviously by far the smallest of the six of us, and we've got 200-300 people watching us. So the tide has definitely shifted, and they just don't know how to react. You see them coming out of the woodworks to defend each other, and they're going on blocking sprees right now. Like, what's her name? Maylee, I don't know what her freaking name is. She blocked me because I said she's so tightly joined to the hip of the Krasensteins. I wouldn't be surprised if she's associated with them as well.
She's cuckoo.
She's super special. In fact, Gary will appreciate this. I once told her, please don't ever buy Bitcoin. Like, you are not our target. You are not our target. She's like, what do I do if something goes bad? I'm like, no, we don't want you, lady. Like, just stay away. But what's funny though is I've been waiting for this moment, Mr. 30, which is the same way that they did artificial suppression of people's voices, like the people on this panel. Artificial boosting of people who otherwise would not have the skill set, the charisma, the ideas, or the awesome sauce necessary to garner large audiences, but who were perfect parrots. And I talked about earlier, the Krasensteins, they worship at the altar of the almighty algorithm. If the algorithm told them that they would get more clicks for dropping butt naked and running around their driveway 7 times in a row, that's exactly what they would do. Right? Like they literally worship at the altar of the algorithm, and they are perfect servants. Whatever the algorithm wants them to do, they will do in order to get those clicks, baby. They will get them. And so it's fun to see what happens when you get a level playing field. And my favorite by far, though, is Don Lemon. Don Lemon got paid tens of millions, maybe even hundreds of millions of dollars to be on CNN. To be on CNN. When forced to compete on a level playing field and stream like the rest of us, bro, there are ladies who do crochet who get more live concurrent listeners than Don Lemon.
Dustin, you're 100% right. That Destiny knows, when I do my Black Ops space, I get more people that attend my Black Ops space than a Don Lemon tweet. He's got 1 million followers. I got 3.9K, and I'm a nobody on X, but I can get a larger engagement than he can. So
It's weird though.
He's a nobody in real life, though.
Yeah, it's a good call. He's a nobody. He is a nobody in real life, and everybody can sense it. The only thing good about him was Louisiana drunk Don Lemon New Year's Eve, baby. I'm not gonna lie to you. I tuned in and watched him on New Year's Eve, and that was it. That's the only time he was entertaining at all.
I like hearing him try to rationalize reparations and failed miserably. And I love the fact that he was married to a woman, which just tells me everything I need to know. I'm like, okay, you're fake. And
Des, did you see the interview where Candace Owens and Don Lemon were talking, and Candace Owens has this deadpan stoic look on her face, and he's like, so you think that I'm a sinner? And she's like, yes. So you think I'm sinning because so as a gay man in a relationship, you think that I'm in a sinful relationship? You think I'm sinning? She's like, yes, you are sinning. Yes. I'm a sinner. Yes, I do. Yes, you're sinning.
I have never been a big fan of Candace Owens, but she has grown on me in the last month and a half, 2 months.
I'm a big fan.
She's gaining my favor back. I lost a little bit of it with the whole Crowder baloney, but that was I don't know. So she's earned it back though for me, I think.
Gary, what do you think? What do you think about Candace Owens? We're watching him actually think about Candace Owens?
I don't know. I probably don't know enough. I shouldn't probably say.
Oh, that's not fun.
You have to. I do not trust politicians. So if you even like go for the job, I think something fucking wrong with you. Okay, something's just twisted. It's so I don't like any of it. I really don't.
Well, the Israel thing has divided us a lot, obviously. I mean, that thing was throwing a crux in there, but
I'm very torn on Candace Owens, and I'll tell you why. So when I like what she exposes, right? But then when we had our event at the Wall, and it was like the Wall Symposium, and we invited all these people. Well, Miss Candace Owens showed up with her new boo thing, which is now her husband, who's a lord in the UK, right? And she like debuted her new boyfriend at our wall, taking pictures in the Jeep, like the old night, like World War II Jeep, right? And then when everything went down and Steve's getting raided, we're getting raided, right? And we need people to come to our defense. She has been nowhere to be found ever since then. And like that, like really bothered me, right? The fact that she was at the Wall, she saw everything that went into it. And then she didn't use her platform or her voice to defend at least Brian Colfash. You know, like that bothers me.
Well, that's human nature. Your survival instinct is going to do whatever it takes to protect yourself, even at the cost of the people around you.
That's a pussy mentality.
I've seen it multiple times over the last couple months, and this is something that I've had to bring up myself. Is
damn it, Jared,
people are being attacked on X. Like when smaller accounts are being attacked on X, nobody steps in. But when a larger account is being attacked, everybody runs to their defense, and it's because you don't have the reach, or sometimes it feels like you just don't matter. And I think she's in that transition period where she's starting to realize that her time may be done. Because what's happening, and I think Destiny can speak on this, because this is something that I've talked about for 8 years, is that when you're a minority in this space, in the conservative space, you're constantly fighting for other minorities. And she doesn't have to do that anymore. She's got everything that she possibly needs. She's got the money. She's got the fame. She has everything. She doesn't need us. She doesn't need Crowder. She doesn't need the Daily Wire. But she allowed an opportunity for us to finally step in and say, hey, guys, we've been doing this for 8 years while she was over there stabbing our side in the back. Like, because people don't know her history, that she actually stabbed us in the back, and then she turned to our side when it was advantageous for her. So now she's just going to have to revert back to that pattern of, oh, I have to figure out where I can exist now, while we have an opportunity to right this ship.
Yeah, but to be honest, though, we spend our 20s and 30s trying to find out where the hell we fit in. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's been many people stabbed in the back that have, we make it up to them in somewhere or another, because there's no way you're looking at life. Like, there's no one stupider than you were when you were in your 20s, especially if you've hit 40. I mean, it's just, you cannot imagine how stupid the 20s are until you're out of the 30s into the 40s.
Very stupid. Hey, Mike, can you check the presentation?
Oh yeah,
What the hell? Dustin, he's talking in code. What's he saying?
Check the presentation. There's something backstage I want you to look at, bro.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to steer the conversation back to where we were.
Yeah, I see. The steering was like, look, it's in the freaking back channel.
I mean, I don't know how to communicate with you guys.
You want me to read it, Gary?
Yeah.
I can read it.
Oh, you see it. Good. Dude, please help yourself. I don't need to read it.
Oh,
there you
Mike,
go.
There's a video piece of it. I think one of the brothers does a video putting their position out there. I think they're going to come out and really, aggressively defend this, which is probably what they need to do. But anyway, what does it say? I haven't even read it. I just saw it.
So it says urgent, which is urgent. How out of context misinformation from foreign influence is created and spread on X. Please share this widely. Too often lies spread like wildfire while the truth withers in the shadows. Take, for example, a recent post falsely claiming that I'm a notorious domain thief and scam. You're going too fast. The X user, whom I won't name, presented screenshots of a distressed individual alleging that Ed Krasenstein and I stole his domain names. These accusations were supposedly backed by his messages from an unknown internet forum dating back to 2008, 16 years ago. Yes, on June 22nd, 2008, someone did claim that I had taken 2 of their domain names. What the ex-user conveniently left out, however, is that I responded to those accusations, explaining what had actually happened. Just 8 days later, the person who accused us of scamming them posted the following, quote, I have spoken with Ed on the phone, and we have come to an agreement that we were both possibly scammed. Ed was very nice and polite over the phone and seems like a good guy. The names JGRF and ZMUL are now back with the rightful owner. They are in my account. Thank you for working with me. I will post everywhere, everywhere that I have received the domain names. I can just feel him laughing. And that it seems to have been a misunderstanding. I apologize to any trouble I have caused you and regret the way the situation was handled. This ex-user is counting on people not doing their due diligence to uncover the full story from 16 years ago. It took me an hour to locate it myself. Please don't fall for defamatory material and lies spread by foreign ex-accounts aiming to discredit the truth. Let's stand together against misinformation.
I just want to Gary was right. Gary was right. And listen, this is a good rule to follow. If you weren't there, do not get in the middle of other people's fucking business. If you do, you will not end up being right. It will turn out bad every time.
I just want to say 2 words. Larry Sinclair. This always happens with the Krasensteins. They have a pattern of always having an excuse.
Sinclair is the guy who's suing him?
Yeah.
That's the one
I don't know how
with.
much of it is accurate, but they always have a built-in excuse. They always have a cover story. They always have something to protect themselves. And I don't think that is by accident. Because they're only sorry that they got caught at this point. And that's
they've been doing this. I mean, think about it. They've been doing this for coming up here pretty quick on 20 years.
Yeah.
You do something for 20 years, you're
interesting.
at it.
It's kind of interesting the dichotomy of the Tate brothers. It's all swinging back, dude. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's
mathematics, physics. The pendulum has to swing all the way back. People forget that shit. Every time you pull the fucking spring, okay, the further you go back, this got really crazy. Okay. We actually gave people who decided they were going to be a man from a woman instead of just admitting they liked it up the ass or whatever. Okay, cool. But I don't need to have a whole community that we talk about. For a good part of most of my kids' high school, they've talked about this shit unnecessarily for more than 2 minutes, right? It's taking up a lot of oxygen, dude. This thing's going to swing so far back. Okay. I mean, I don't think we're through with the insanity, but psychopaths, Des knows this. Psychopaths have no end, dude. There is no black line. There's only justifications. And
why are you calling out Destiny?
Huh? No. I know she knows it. I know she knows this.
Yeah, she does too.
She knows it.
Okay.
But Dustin, I think we got how many days to the election, dude?
68, 67?
68, 69, yeah.
Well, 69 days, and that whatever it's happening in the next 69 days. That's what I think.
I couldn't agree. My point on the censorship, the crackdowns, these are not the acts of somebody who is comfortable in their power. That they are the acts of despots who are desperately.
You talking Brazil?
Yep, they're desperately trying to hold on to power because they know what happens when they lose it because of all the evil shit that they've done.
I think Dustin, try this one on. I think they're trying to scare the shit out of people. Say, hey, we will fuck you up. I mean,
and they'll take whatever wins, and they'll take whatever gravy they can get out of it, right? If they can get more than they expected, they'll take it, call it a win, right?
Well, how do you if you're a big group, let's go the conspiracy theory route. If there is an overlying, if I'm running the show, okay, I'm the mastermind. I have all my little puppets and princes and bishops, rooks in place, and I see everything crumbling around me. right? I see there's too many ants that have gotten through decentralized everything has gotten out into my shit. I can't get them out. I forgot to hide all my data encrypted for the past 30 years, and it's all been stored, memorized, and there's probably a copy somewhere. Like, so everything's going to come unwound, right? Unless it's suppressed. Everything comes unwound unless it's continued to be suppressed. And this thing it's too much suppression. You just had a guy 3 days ago say that Admit, major shareholder of a monster corporation, one of the Mag 7s, Admit that they cooperate with the federal government's agencies to commit felonies. Okay, I don't even know. He must know of a bombshell, bro. So no, really, he must. Why would he come out and say that? Okay,
Yeah.
There's something getting ready to come out, unless he just like, oh shit, Trump's gonna win. I tried to skew the vote.
Well,
So
the
let's-
natural
let's-
reaction is to jump ship and try to save your own ass. Right?
Yes, but the problem is they can't control all these beans popping around, right? So how do you do that? You do an act like this in Brazil, right? And go, okay, hey, let's scare the shit out of France, Brazil. Hey, maybe we launch something about Elon. But I just think that we're going to continue to see this 69 days. I thought we had 80.
I think the whole Zuckerberg
We
thing
accelerate.
is going to, of course, it's going to continue because it never didn't exist with Zuckerberg. Ever since Cambridge, like the Cambridge Analytica scandal, he's been passing the buck on responsibilities. He was just in Congress being confronted for the fact that his purchase of Instagram, that you can request to look up pedographic photographs, and then it'll ask you, are you sure you want to look at this? And then it will still provide it for you. And, and what did he do? He's like, well, like we put a button there to report it. Like, he's always just passing it off to something else because he's a beta male in every sense of the word. He's, the Bill Gates 2.0. But the amount of money that he profited off of COVID, he's not going to rat so much so that that's going to get exposed. But he is going to try to pass the buck, because here's the thing: if he passes it to Fauci, because that's the problem, is him and Fauci's emails. I read all these emails and I remember them very well. And he was offered, Mark Zuckerberg offered a redacted amount. It was a large number, digit, whatever it was, but it was redacted, to essentially be on the same page for COVID information. This is like February or March 2020, and a huge amount of money just given to Fauci to, share his opinion with how they should handle it. The thing people need to understand is who Mark Zuckerberg is in his real life. His wife, Priscilla Chan, is a doctor. He met at Harvard. She has her own, they have their own wing at the San Francisco hospital called the Chan Zuckerberg Trauma Center. So not only were we getting lots of money with the surge of COVID patients that were scared and going to the hospitals and making their hospital wing look like it's packed in big headlines, but they also at the same time employed Ashley Biden, right? They got close with the Biden family. So we all know the Bidens colluded with social media. So it's just going to pass it back to a president who's not president anymore. And it's going to push it to Fauci, who's no longer a government agent, or government employee. So what are they going to do?
Des, what's the bad end for Zuckerberg here? Like, where's the pushback come from? Does he get it? Like, is there a negative aspect to him saying this out loud, or is this all positive?
This is expected. I don't see how this is at all surprising. Like, when you're under the thumb of something, you now are suffering. He was confident this whole time because he was doing better than Twitter, but Twitter just had massive numbers with this massive interview. It is doing great. People still can't stop talking about Twitter. Trump is back on Twitter. Everything's back on Twitter. Alex Jones is on Twitter. All the misinformationists like myself are on Twitter.
No chance this is a legit admission of him trying to be on the right side.
Oh, it's
This is-
absolutely no. Oh, it's oh, you're wrong with the motive. You're right with the action. He is definitely doing that, but he's not doing it because he feels bad in
Okay.
any way. No, and I can
Yeah.
guarantee that he's the guy. When they say that, remember that interview with Bill Gates? It was like in Helsinki or Aspen or something. It was like snowy in the background. It was a blonde woman, and it was like NBC, and asking him about his investment into COVID early on, and he's like, well, I put $2 billion in with investors, and we got the highest returns of any market I could have ever imagined. We got $200 billion out of a $2 billion investment. The other investor on that he doesn't mention in that interview, but is, if you just go look it up, it's very simple. The other investor in that $2 billion was Mark Zuckerberg and his wife. So Mark Zuckerberg and his wife profited by investing in the vaccines. And then they also invested in the voice of Anthony Fauci, who was pushing the vaccines, specifically those companies and on those social medias, in the same way that Fauci was swaying Trump at the beginning and mocking hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin. He's complicit. He knows what he's done. He's not admitting anything that if people looked into it, they wouldn't already know. He's got nothing to lose in this situation. He's just trying to, I don't know, get a Hail Mary for his horrible reputation.
What else can he do?
It's like a
What else
race
can he do?
who's
Exactly.
willing to squeal the most first. That's what's going on. And Destiny said it properly. He's a beta male. He's going to be the one to break. Like, you look at everybody else, half the time you don't even know who's in charge, but right now everybody's focusing on him, so he's going to be the one to crack.
He'll go hide in his bunker in Hawaii, his secret underground bunker.
And that's actually a key thing, because we know things are about to get even crazier. We know all of these billionaires are building bunkers. Like, they've got plans. So all we can see is directly what's right in front of us right now. We have 67 days to prepare for what's coming. And this is honestly why a lot of us have the platforms we have, is because we've been speaking out about this. And I owe a great amount of praise to Dustin for giving me a voice, because I've been talking about this stuff for a long time and screaming into the wind to nobody. And then Dustin came along and he gave me a voice. He gave me an opportunity through American Mission to talk about things that I think are important. And as a result, like, we have this large community that has incredible reach that is waking people up. And I've said this, like, if we can prepare for what they have planned, if we can ruin their plans, come November 6th, there's going to be an American Renaissance that begins that we have never seen in our country before. And we're going to be so back, and it's something to actually keep fighting for. It's why we are here for this moment. And it's something that I don't hold lightly. And given my history of the last month, like, I'm fighting for it even more now, because it's something that I truly do believe in, and it's what I want to see happen.
No, I mean, I agree with you.
Gary's always saying it. There's more wisdom from people that is just locked up and begging to, like, join this new ecosystem, which is right. We've been dealing with the same 40 talking heads who are able to, right? They're the same people who are experts when it's geopolitical as when it's vaccines, when it's health, when it's other things. We have the opportunity to unlock the wisdom, the collective wisdom of society, like of our people and humanity. And it's all comes back to decentralization, which is, in a decentralized way, Mike Beck I can forever now listen. Whenever I read a Krasenstein tweet, it will be in the voice you just did. Like, period. Forever. Right? But all of us are able to collectively have a voice and reach the people who vibe with us. And it's going to be different for all of us. Right? Unless you're a hot chick like Jen or Destiny or whatever, right? Then everybody follows along, whatever. You guys, like, have the freaking cheat code. Whatever.
And then the sandwiches.
Right.
And this is
But
the thing. This is exactly what they fear. They fear people like Dustin, who has had incredible reach and he's got access to politicians. They fear people like you, Gary. They fear Mike's cowboy hat.
As they should.
And the research Destiny does it. They fear what we can bring to the table, and I'm just a small voice. And there is no greater honor than being able to be associated with a movement such as this, with such a small account, and being able to be heard. Because for years you're just screaming into the wind about things that are coming. And I've said this to Gary. Like when I moved to Alaska in 2009. I saw all this stuff coming down the road, and I've been planning for it since. I got my dogs outside right now. They're playing around with a moose that's in my backyard. And so whatever happens in 67 days, I know that's not going to affect me here in Alaska, but I fear what it's going to affect people that are in the lower 48 because people haven't been planning for stuff like this. But we have an opportunity to wake people up and talk to them about it and give them plans and opportunities to prepare for the potential future. In the event that the potential still does take place, we can prepare people for that. And that is something that they have to fear because they can't push back against 200 million pissed off Americans if they get their way.
So Gary, let me ask something real quick. You, how long you think it's going to be until they start coming after you full force? Because I mean, you would assume that some of the stuff that you say and the way it's ramping up, that it's going to probably going to start coming your way pretty soon, don't you think? Pretty heavily.
You muted, Gary.
Microphone left us.
I said, I sure hope not. I haven't done anything, but look, I think they already have been and are. Like I have a RICO case against me through a class action from California law firm. I think he had one client. They just go make them up, dude. Like I've never even served anything to a client, to a consumer.
Mr. Cardone, can I ask you a quick question though? Are you a Bitcoin owner?
See?
Do you have association with Donald Trump at all? Do you?
Yeah. See, you saw the Newsweek article. Like, oh well,
Yeah.
well. What does one have to do with the other one, dude? Like,
I thought your analogy pretty good. What didn't you say if you got pulled over by a cop? If you get pulled over by didn't you? Somebody, I thought it was you that said that. If you get pulled over by a cop and they ask you, and they don't ask you how fast you're going, they're asking you, "Are you into Bitcoin?"
yeah, huh? I didn't say that, but yeah. Hey, dude, would that be weird or what?
Yeah,
it's exactly what it was like. Okay. That was exactly what it was like. 2 years ago, I had an ex-FTC lawyer who was FTC, got paid $400,000 a year, moved over to private, gets paid probably $1.5 a year now. She sat there for 10 years, turned it into an enforcement authority. I hired her thinking that, okay, let me hire somebody that's been on the other team. Took 3.5 years to go through a case with the FTC. I have never sold anything to a consumer. Okay, like why? And what I'm saying, they found nothing. They came up with a fee of $100,000 at that point after spending $7 million. No one would have done that. Tore my relationship up with everything. Me and my wife were going to get killed anyway. Family wise, but the shit they can put you through, dude. Even every legal system today. I started actually because I was going through about 4 battles at one time. Not to be boring or dramatical to anybody about my past. This is just life, right? So I'm not like trying to be Mr. Ooh. But I probably met in the last 4 years, I don't know, 30 lawyers, man, and probably paid 10. Probably had to pay 10. Probably had to pay 5 different accounting firms and all kind of other experts just to answer someone's question. See, they can just ask you questions over and over and over again. They don't close it. If they don't close the case, your fucking lawyer has to be on the bill. Okay, so it's just a constant drip. They're doing it to my ex-partner right now. This class action that's all it's about, and they're going to get fucked. This law firm is not going to make a penny from the deal. They've lost 3 deals, and you know it's the last scramble, man. So what do? Oh wow, there was 32 people involved. I have met the business owner twice in 10 years. Okay, the first time was in a Las Vegas, very upscale, posh Las Vegas hotel, in the lobby, and unbelievable. We never made any. I lost money from the client. Got completely fucked by the client. Had him for 6 months. This is activity going back to 2000 and I think 8 or something. No, 16. 8 years ago, dude. Okay. There was $1 million involved in the company on my side of all the stuff. Like, okay, yeah, there was a little business over there. It dripped over to this other guy, got it. Like, so they'll spend $500,000 a month on that case. Such a waste. That $500,000 could be going back into the market. Now, here's a good solution. See, I never bring a problem to the table without a solution. I think it's a coward's man, comes up here and criticizes everything. So we changed the rules. Trump rolls out a little regulatory mandate and says, hey, if you file a lawsuit, if the government files a lawsuit against you and loses it, they pay your fees. In fact, whoever files the lawsuit, if you lose it, you pay all the fees.
No.
That would stop so many damn,
It
that would
would.
stop half the litigations on the planet. And you immediately go to every state and go, it is mandated that if a divorce occurs between a man and a woman, and that both man and woman have equal right, 50% for that child. Okay. And that would stop what's happening right now, which is the ability for someone to claim that they should have greater control because it's a gray area. And then someone, typically the woman, can say, there's bad behavior over there, therefore it gives me greater control. And there may be bad behavior over there, but there may be bad behavior everywhere, right? And I'm not sure you can just, so it would stop so much of the litigation. Okay, because one of the reasons that I think many men are walking away from these families is that it becomes too expensive to fight it, man.
Yeah.
Okay. Like there were a couple of times I'm like, wow, dude, it would be so much easier to go, see ya. Right? Like I could have probably made $100, $200 million in the last 10 years. And, you know, going through all that shit. So I can just see how people get to a point where they're not in the position where I am. They run out of fuel. They can't even defend it, right? And they just give up. That's systemic through the whole system. That's what the point I'm trying to make. This is not just government or police or whatever, right? This is systemic across everything. Yeah, exactly, Destiny.
No, this was from, like, I just wanted to post this up there because I actually have fondness for Zuckerberg because of this post. This post is the reason why I'm a researcher. This post was the first time I was ever censored. After this, I lost my account. I got suspended for posting that post. And in the comments to that post, I posted the Nature article from 2015 called Risky Bat Research and Gain of Function, right, by Declan Butler. And it was the one that everyone links to the Gain of Function. It's the Gain of Function paper published in Nature, a respected journal. That's all I said. And I put it in the comments and I was suspended. And I was so shook at the fact that, like, I was like, wait, you can do that? I just can't talk now. Like, what did I do wrong? And I had never, like, when it happens to you for the first time, like, I think like a lot of people, you just go, whoa, it is way too easy for them to make you essentially not exist, you know, and wipe out your effort, your time, friends, communication. And the second time I felt that same feeling was when they took Trump off of Twitter. When he was a sitting president, I was like,
yeah,
way too much.
Yeah, we forget about that.
I wasn't even crazy about Trump at the time, but I was still like, I don't care. He's a human being and an American, and you just For what? What did he do wrong? You
Yeah,
know?
that's a good call. I
And the sitting
I
president,
forgot
that means
about
they
that.
couldn't
That's
get
right.
anybody.
That was big.
Yeah, and the social
They
media messed
voted.
up
They
last
voted
year.
on it. Remember, they took him off, and then they were going to bring him back in some. And the social media platforms, they voted. They got their people to vote whether or not to allow him. I don't know if we're going to allow him to come back onto our platform and bring his
And they
congestion.
think that,
I
like,
don't
it's
know
crazy
about it.
that we accuse them of, like, election rigging.
Yeah.
It's like, when have you guys done some process that's fair? I'll wait for an example. You know, it's not going to happen. But that screenshot from
Excuse me,
that,
guys.
my
Destiny,
favorite.
can I just interrupt you real quickly?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to invite Dustin outside to smoke a cigarette, but I'm going to leave the volume on so I can hear you, okay? He'll get the joke.
I'm on my way.
If we were in a meeting somewhere, we'd be like, and we'd step out, but we'd still
You
be
guys would
listening.
100 Biden just out.
Everybody just be assuming
20
we're
minutes.
plotting, and we're literally just smoking.
Exactly. Hey,
Gotta
Dustin,
get
what
the
time is
facts.
what time's your space tonight, man? We're about to wrap this thing up anyway.
Oh, it started like
You have a
half an
space?
hour ago.
Oh, did
Oh shoot!
What'd you
Well,
say?
what's the space? What's the
Before we
space?
wrap up, Mike, can we address the allegation that the DM that I shared both you and Destiny?
What was that?
The photo.
Yeah.
Can we share that?
Do
Did
it.
I see it?
Yes, you commented.
What was the? I forgot, man. I'm older than everybody in this freaking place, man. Come on.
Boo,
I
it's the
found the reason Destiny cooks so well.
hat.
Destiny didn't say anything about it either.
Yes, I did.
Destiny only speaks when she's spoken to. Okay, why would she volunteer any information?
Yeah. Well, how about
I don't
speak to
understand.
this?
She's so stupid.
Anyway,
Stupid.
all night revival space tonight, baby. I'm gonna run late. I'm gonna bring out my inner preacher. We're gonna get crazy.
Dude, you ought to get that freaking get the MC Hammer. Didn't he do that pray? Didn't he do a song called Pray?
I don't know. We did Bone Thugs and Harmony Crossroads last time.
Dude, you gotta look up that word. You gotta look up Pray, man. That was by MC Hammer back in the day. If I remember, that was a banging track, if I remember right. You rolling your eyes at freaking. What did you know about music?
And
I
she
don't know
did have us
nothing.
listen to Will Smith's record once in my space.
Okay, that's the best song ever, and you're welcome.
I feel like we need like the parachute pants to come back. I feel actually I have a sneaky suspicion that it's cowboy hat, Kiss shirt, parachute, baggy pants.
All right, stop. Collaborate and listen.
Okay, Ice. Dude, Justin, you gotta remember, there's a lot of pressure that comes with the parachute pants, bro. Like, if you got to get 2 pair, okay, and if you get 2 pair, you can wear one on a Monday, and then you can wear the other pair on a Thursday, but you can't wear the first pair until next Friday at the absolute earliest. And I would recommend probably waiting till another Monday after that. And then that second pair can't be that week. That has to kick off the next week. It's a very tricky schedule. It's parachute pants it's tricky, bro.
Were you just like fucking possessed by Kamala Harris? Because that was the kind of like extra words, craziness.
Holy shit, I think he voiced the skull Kamala.
The parachute pants, they unburden us and our genes by what has been denim. Okay.
She's like, hello, my name is Kamala Harris. I'm the woman in the yellow parachute pants.
Sometimes
my pronouns are
for the
hammer
denim,
time.
because the corduroy fades and the denim does not.
Corduroy's a solid look. It's a solid look. It's a very elderly teacher, manly, trying to, look, but I don't, the corduroy, it's seasonal, and I don't like seasonal. Somebody came back with a little bit of a Bitcoin hat.
I do appreciate how Gary has shown off like 9 different pieces of Bitcoin merch.
No doubt.
Like, in an hour. Like, oh, look, I'm just going to come in here and hang another Bitcoin shirt.
Bro, he's never
look,
worn the
it's a
same
hoodie.
Bitcoin gear and he's never worn the same Bitcoin gear in a stream before. Like, it's got to be all.
That's a
Yeah.
fly hoodie.
He does.
I'm
He
gonna be
doesn't.
honest.
It is. It is. He doesn't even, and he doesn't even put a link to where we can purchase it. You know.
I'm a little disappointed that he doesn't have the Bitcoin emblem on his chair. I'm gonna be honest.
Is there a Bitcoin button?
I should start a merch. I should, because I know the fucking kind of shit to it. I'm in a shirt the other day in Wyoming. It's a cool one, dude. I walk up to Scaramucci. I got like $1,000 blazer on and a t-shirt. It's really cool. Scaramucci's like, "Hey man, where'd you get that t-shirt, man? Where'd you get that t-shirt?" So, see, you gotta wear. Hey, I do support my team, Dustin. You've seen nothing but action from me when I believe in something.
Did Scaramucci say that he wanted that shirt but hated Trump? He is fly for a white guy.
Hey, the host was talking over you, Dustin. What'd you say?
So then
Sorry, I had something on my nose.
Pretty fly for a white guy.
Pretty fly for a white guy. I was wondering if Scaramucci said that he liked your shirt and then said Trump sucks in the same sentence.
Yeah.
You gotta be kidding me with that dude.
You know
Gary.
what?
Like seriously, that dude's what's going on? What's wrong with that guy?
He's an interesting person. I've researched him. Interestingly enough, he's come across my research many times.
Oh,
and Destiny's researched everybody in this room, by the way. Just giving y'all a heads up.
Actually, that's the one thing I don't do. Like, you know.
Yes, Destiny. Have you researched me? Please do tell.
I haven't. No, I haven't.
Oh,
No,
I'd
I
love
only came
you to
across
run a
Scaramucci
background
because
on
of the
me.
SALT conference. That's the only reason I know about Scaramucci. He
Yeah.
goes to the SALT conference and with the what's the name of that group? Skybridge Capital, and the SALT conference for 2019-2020 with Sam Bankman-Fried, and I followed that because they had two that year, and it was particularly interesting because the second one was the Bahamas location, and that's the one Tom Brady and Giselle went to, along with 3 former FBI heads, CIA, and also all pharmaceutical companies that ended up working Operation Warp Speed, and a lot of money was exchanged at those and set up. A lot of deals were set up at that SALT conference. Joe Biden was a speaker. So was Volodymyr Zelensky in 2020, I believe. So that's why I know about him. So
he knows how to put on a good show. I enjoyed the shit out of it. It made
quite a
Nashville.
Rolodex of friends.
It made Nashville. Nashville Bitcoin was not close to what that show was. It was really, really well done. A lot of senior people.
Did you ever go to SALT conference? Have you gone?
That was a SALT conference.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
I didn't know. See, everyone just said it was Bitcoin conference, and no one said its actual name to me, which would have been nice.
But it was around blockchain only.
Okay.
Whereas normally it's big macro, right?
Mm-hmm.
What I took away from it, because I don't know the guy well, but what I took away from it was the attitude that's changed and the people that are there regarding this industry. I mean, it's really like so much bigger and more mature than I thought. But yeah, he's got a hard on for Trump, man. For sure, as a friend, I can't really tell him so much. I mean, he's an associate, so
like you would think he wouldn't be. Just
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you would think he wouldn't be, but that's interesting.
Yeah, he asked me.
What's his brother's name again? He has a brother, right? There's another Scaramucci, isn't there?
Maybe the son.
Is it a son?
AJ.
There we go. Yeah, I've seen him at the conference list too.
That's right. Yeah, I think that's his son.
Yeah.
It is just wild to me. Like I look up things that because I was looking into that because I was looking into a company called Metabiota that worked with Hunter Biden, and in the Hunter Biden emails, I found an invitation to the SALT conference for I think 2016 or something, 2017, and because Hunter Biden's dad spoke as the premier speaker the next year.
Yeah,
and of course he was hedging with Ruslan Seneca with Metabiota, 14% stake in the company, so they got invited, even though he didn't go. I think other representatives did, and so that's how I was not even. But like, how would I know looking into Metabiota because they worked with EcoHealth Alliance that I'd be talking to Gary one day? Who knows? Anthony Scaramucci from the SALT conference that I researched a year ago. weird.
There's no
Small
way that
world.
Scaramucci. There's no way Scaramucci and Cuban would vote for Kamala with the right mind. There's just no way.
No, they're not going to. No.
I mean, there's a good chance that Biden doesn't vote for Kamala. Like
But I don't
seriously,
think
like
Biden's alive. I don't think he can
that's
go.
we don't
Well,
know
actually,
that's going to be.
that's totally normal for his voters to be passed away. So
It's
Yeah,
definitely a mannequin that's sitting out there on the beach.
It's got to be. Yeah, that's
I
just
haven't seen it move in a
insulting
week.
to mannequins.
that cat got stabbed in the back, bro. Like there's a legitimate shot. He does not vote for Kamala out of just pure spite. And that would
He's
be
probably
damn
gonna vote for
interesting.
Kennedy because he probably thinks it's 1963. You know, he's like,
Yeah.
oh,
I can go for that too. It's nice
I
to
don't
have.
like that
It's nice to
Nixon,
have
man.
Tulsi. It's nice to have Tulsi on board. I can tell you that.
It is surprising to me, though, that Destiny's comment that so many big Bitcoin players continue to support that side. It's really surprising to me. Some people I really respect.
because it doesn't line up with the general narrative. Like Silicon Valley is Silicon Valley. It's California. They vote Dem, right? And how this technology goes through. Like it has to have the tech side supporting the Bitcoin, or else there's no Bitcoin. So they have to work together. So you would think that their political allegiance would also align. And in this particular instance, it doesn't seem to be the case.
There's no way anybody in crypto votes Kamala. There's just there's no one person voter. I mean, there's no one issue voter that there's just no way. There's no scenario where that plays out where you vote for Kamala if you're a crypto person. None. And yet you hear these people talking about it as if they're
no, Mike. They close the curtain. They vote for Trump.
Yeah,
or they'll throw the vote away. Or they'll throw the vote away. They will vote for Trump. All of them.
Yeah, I just but the fact that they come out and say it is just.
I'm quite certain Trump is going to win. I've been saying that. Like, I thought the assassination attempt completely sealed his win. I still believe that. I think everything we're seeing about Kamala is absolute paid for, overinflated, perfect place, perfect picture to get it look like it's this, that, and the third. People don't genuinely like Kamala because whenever anyone's asked, you like Kamala? Yeah. Why? They can't tell you why. Because they don't genuinely feel that way.
She's placed as a senator. She's placed as a candidate.
See, for me, I don't think she's taken seriously enough to even talk about her. Quite frankly, I mean, it's so bad. You have to ask yourself, why did they roll this out? Why did they roll this out? Like, that's a question we should be asking ourselves, because this is insanity.
Gary's lit tonight. He gets it.
No, it's absolutely true. I mean, we have 69 days. That's not like a lot, man. If I'm on this clock, if I'm on the other side, and this is the way I think, oh wow, what would I be doing right now? Just to kind of play out, it's a fascinating kind of storyline, right? Oh, let me go get on the other side. I know I'm down 16 points. What would I do now? I've been playing this game for 20 years.
I've got to get rid of him.
There's only so many things you can do.
I've got to get rid of him. You get rid of him.
Then what? What happens if you don't get rid of him?
Who cares? Who cares? I mean, I don't care. I just can't have him I can't have him win this election.
That's right.
And I can worry about everything else later. And I say this again. I'm saying this as.
What do you mean him win the election? You can't get him. You don't want him to win?
Who?
Trump.
No, they don't. Like they're saying like if you're flipping sides, their goal is, and they've already done it numerous times, like including the assassination, including the lawsuits. They're doing everything they can. There's no reason to stop doing it now. They cannot have him they cannot have that as an option. And like Gary said, they got 60 something days.
I don't know.
To figure out a way to stop him, but he cannot be on that presidential stage come January. He cannot. That is not an option.
I think the question people need to ask is what all falls apart if Trump walks into office January 20th, 2025. That's the real question. What all is going to fall apart? We're looking at
anything he wants to.
Everything.
Yeah, he had that chance the first time. Hillary
What?
wasn't in jail and doing
What, you
something.
think everything falls apart?
I think he tears apart things that people don't want him to tear apart. He said this will be his second term. It's the same thing Obama said. He goes, look, once I get back in office, I'll have more power I'll have more flexibility to be able to do this. Trump has all the flexibility in the world now. There's no stopping him in a second term. And some of the stuff you have to think, Trump is going to troll the shit out of those people with freaking declassifying documents and little things like that. Trump is coming for them.
Yeah,
You
the
know, and it
liberal
may not be until
economic order
November.
is doing everything they can to hold what little bit of power they've got as closely to their chest as they can. Like they're terrified.
When Brazil and these people messed with Elon Musk, they messed with the wrong cat. And now he's on Trump's side? What are you saying, Gary?
I think that you should just a little critique on this space. We should get everybody
down, bro.
We should get everyone to wear headphones.
Why?
It helps in talking over each other.
Okay, we'll do that next time.
Also, okay, like wired headphones, you guys. Don't kill your brain cells with the 5G shit passing between your ears, okay?
Well,
Your
see, I
brain-
don't care what you do. You do anything you want, but let's not mess the old show up. No, I'm just kidding.
That too.
That could turn into a totally different show.
She is right. She is right. You know, it is convenient though. But I've started to hear stuff. Okay,
Ringing?
the other day I was using some of these things, and I'm like, hey, I'm not sure I'm really comfortable. There was something else in my.
Yeah, I've had that happen before. I haven't worn wireless headphones since probably 2019 because I had got a pair of the Beats headphones like 2018. But then I remember when Dr. Dre got that aneurysm and a brain bleed. Do you guys remember that? He was rushed to the ER. He had a brain bleed and it was aneurysm, vessel blew in his brain. That's what that was. And they don't know why. He was only like 50 something, early 50s, maybe late 40s. Too young to be having that. And everyone was like, oh my gosh, it's so crazy. This is terrible. And I was like, well, he does literally wear wireless Beats headphones 24/7, repping them. They're his favorite. He uses them in the studio.
Yeah, there could be some that do that. Yeah.
Well, this bone that's covering your ear canal hole there, right? That bone's called the sphenoid bone. It's the thinnest bone in the human skull. It's like fine china. It's quite thin. That's why that kill spot in the boxing. You know, get knocked right perfectly there. You kill somebody.
Well, Gary and 30 Below, I think Des and I about to wrap this joint up, bro.
I had to like ruin it with some like weird fact.
Can you jettison me out of here?
You're a research junkie, bro. Like you bring up something, Destiny will jump in with the freaking knowledge about that whole thing, bro.
Like this is how dumb of my researching is. Watch this. Okay, we were talking about the Krasensteins, right? And of course, I know Dr. Godek, who did this story. I don't know him personally very well, but
what's his name?
Simon Godek.
Simon Godek. Sounds like a James Bond bad guy
He's
name.
been big on the COVID thing. That's how
he's in Brazil right now, supposedly, right? And he's worried that he has to get off the Twitter tonight. It shuts down across the country.
Well, I don't know what his views on that are. I haven't paid attention.
Oh no, well no. That's what happened just like 12 hours ago, right? And there's an $8,996 fine a day if you're caught using a VPN. $8,996 a day.
Do they accept Bitcoin?
Probably not.
Dude, isn't it weird, Gary, that when it comes out of your mouth, like that's a real story in real life.
You want to know another real story in real life?
Unbelievable, dude. Floating a balloon, dude.
Signed a letter to the president of the United States saying that the Hunter Biden laptop that they had in their possession for like a year already was Russian disinformation when they knew it wasn't. That happened. You know, also somebody who did not get the presidential
Destiny,
nomination.
who are you saying had that?
For what? I'm sorry.
That FBI.
Yeah, the laptop.
FBI? Oh, that was FBI. Had the Hunter Biden laptop for like a year before lying about it. And 51 former intelligence agents all staked their freaking reputation on it.
And the research shows that it would have swayed the election.
Yeah.
You know, those like if people would have known that it would have changed the outcome of that election.
I mean,
Texas
it would
just
have.
took off 1 million. I told you that, Destiny. Texas just took off 1 million voters
How?
because they just took 1 million voters off the rolls because they were illegal. 1 million. 1 million.
Just 1 million?
That's probably where they're at now. I mean, that's incredible.
That was part of Biden's plan, though. Like, I did a whole thread on that. The open borders thing, he planned that when he was during his time as vice president, when he was working at the Penn Biden Center, doing like 3 lectures that got him a whole bunch of money in his own center, where all those documents were left that nobody cares about, that were classified, not in a SCIF.
From a perverted point of view, this is actually kind of a cool time to be alive.
It's really
Totally.
pretty interesting.
It's fascinating. Like every day, the news is like a freaking story.
But don't
It's
you think that's by
amazing.
design? Like, I feel like it's by design. I feel like it's very intentional. I feel like all these things are really thrown against the wall so that we're incapable of making good, clear
I think it's the lies that catch up with the other lies, and they just got to keep throwing out these lies to cover up the freaking tracks of where they're at. And it's snowballing right now.
But
To the
no,
point where
they-
there's
I
just
don't.
no way
I,
to recover
I
from
think
it.
that's giving them like too much. Your person, like personifying them more than they're not that human, in my opinion. Because look what they did with the JFK assassination. Okay, my boy here, JFK. Wait, actually, here. Let's get him
Yeah,
here. So my
we
boy.
know, God, we know.
Here's the thing. Died November 22nd, 1963, Dallas, Texas, right? Of course,
We know.
they still say to this day, that he was killed by a lone shooter, by Lee Harvey Oswald, who I've talked to Lee Harvey Oswald's mistress. It's just not true. Okay. He might have been a shooter, but he wasn't a lone shooter. But they still say today on the Wikipedia page or on the John F. Kennedy Library or in the U.S. National Archives, look it up. What is the way they say he died? From a single bullet that defied physics, gravity, and all sensible direction, ballistics, and measurements of all. It did backflips, turned around, took a pit stop, and then also was found perfectly underneath his body. And
Stopped and reaccelerated, right? Didn't it stop and then reaccelerate?
It took a break. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this, Des. Why is
They
it that
still say
when someone
so
gets killed,
they don't have to change it. That's like my proof that they can hold a lie. Just knowing it's not
I
good.
agree.
Because they've
What
got
I'm wondering is, like, if an illegal alien kills someone over here, you have parents, family members, they all come into the press and they all talk about it. How is it that the shooter of Donald Trump has already been incinerated, right? And nobody tell me what their parents have said. Where's the parental interview?
You know why? Because
No, I don't. I literally don't know why. I want to know why he was incinerated.
It's the same reason you didn't hear from the trans woman that shot up the Christian school of kids and teachers, the 3 teachers.
Where's her manifesto? Or where's the manifesto?
Parents? Where's the friends? Where's the backstory? Where's the 60-minute special Dateline NBC? Where is it? You're not seeing it because it does not suit the agenda, which proves which side the mainstream media is on in terms of the agenda they're on.
They said everything that we needed to know was in that manifesto.
I'm sure it was.
And we've never seen it all this time. And it's like, and they've never released that manifesto.
And
that
they're not
shooter.
going to find out who had cocaine in the most secure building on earth.
And they can't figure out who had the cocaine in the White House.
They think we're that stupid. Like, that's so asinine. Like, could you imagine what kind of balls you have to tell a population of 335 million hardworking people that employ you?
Find out who it was.
Right? Mind you, you have inflation going up. You're ruining the economy for these people. You're letting them down in every sense of the word, right? 335 pissed off people that are working hard that pay you to survive, right? And you're going to tell people that we had an incident at the White House. There was calls over radios. It was recorded. And
to be fair,
where they keep the most powerful man on earth stays in this building. It has
to
a
be
bunker.
fair, though, Destiny, the person who was in charge of all 3 of those incidents recently got fired from her job. So
okay, but that doesn't explain things. Things don't happen where only one person knows about something.
I know. I'm just making a joke.
Situations,
but
There's no
I
like,
think-
but they think we're stupid, and that's insulting. I find it personally insulting that they would even attempt to pass something as asinine as we found a controlled federal level substance, category 1, schedule 1, drug, narcotic, loose in a bag in the White House, in the West Wing. Like, what?
At least
And they don't
we
who it
know.
was. When everyone who comes through there, biometrics have scanned them. They've got, most of them have to check in advance before coming there. The National Archives at least have to be 24 hours in advance. At
But
least.
why do all that when you can just
Background
destroy the evidence?
No, the problem isn't any of this. Fuck the evidence. The problem is that they have the balls to
tell us.
go on television and tell us with a straight face that we are investigating to find out where this substance come from. We don't have any leads at this time. We will keep you updated. Are you?
Destiny, they pardoned the 2 officers that fell asleep when the lights went out at the jail where
William
Jeffrey
Barr's
Epstein
fault.
killed himself from 6 inches off the ground with the bed sheet.
That's
They
William Barr's
pardoned those
fault.
2 officers.
Do you know why? Do you know why? And why
Yeah.
it was William Barr? I'm gonna blow your mind right now. Okay.
Why?
Because William Barr's dad is Donald Barr. Donald Barr is known to be one of the longest running headmasters of a very prestigious private school in New York called the Dalton Academy. And interestingly enough, Dalton Academy, when he was headmistress, William Barr's dad, right back in the day, where Anthony Blinken, by the way, attended that school. It's very prestigious. Only like top people go there. But they hired a teacher, a man who wasn't a teacher, to teach the students there, the kids. This guy later became known as a prolific pedophile, Jeffrey Epstein. Never was a teacher license, and yet was able to teach at a school and hang out extracurricular. Had multiple teachers, parents, and students complaining about his sexually aggressive behavior. Donald Barr covered it up on his last day, left, and made sure he left, and then the whole thing went with him. And nobody talks about it ever again. And interestingly enough, that's the school Anthony Blinken went to, who's now, of course, Biden's best friend, and he's also best friends with Hunter Biden. And you can see this like weird cycle of creeps hanging out with the same people. And he's covering up the whole Jeffrey Epstein thing because, well, he's got dirt with Jeffrey Epstein and his family. He's not going to let that come out all willy-nilly. Of course, he's going to allow for the cameras to not work and for the guys to take a piss break, because what does William Barr really have to lose? Boom. Yeah, look it up.
I don't know, peeps.
Couldn't
30
have put it
below.
better.
Give us a quick comment. We're going to Gary, and then we're going to shut this bad boy down. Let Gary go back to painting.
I don't have much. Just a privilege and an honor to be able to share this space with you guys. Gary, always incredible getting a chance to hear you speak and listening to your insight. Destiny, look forward to you next week. Black Ops, I'm going to be back. Yeah, just an honor to be able to share this time with you guys. So thank you for giving me an opportunity. I don't deserve it, so I'm very humbled.
No, you do, brother. It's good to.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do the thing that the kids do. Like my goddaughter showed me. Hold on. Like they do. Like we used to do this for the heart sign, but they do something else. It's like a. How do they do it? It's like
Blood.
no, like I feel like such a boomer, right? Okay, hold on.
Yeah. Just you're
No,
not
it was
gangster like me.
fingers.
Des. Okay, please.
No,
I'm a
wait,
gangster.
there we go. I think that's it. Like something like
Peace,
that. I don't know.
guys.
It's weird.
Enjoyed having the show with you.
Bye, Gary. Have a good night.
Good seeing you, brother. Thanks for coming out. We'll do this again soon. And I watch Gary every day when I'm eating lunch at freaking work. Those damn
Hey, do you
kids.
think I should continue doing it every day?
I like it.
You do?
Yeah. Yeah.
Consistency is
Destiny, do
always
you
proven
watch it?
good. I've only seen like every other maybe 3 or so.
See, I mean,
and
doing
don't
it
do
every day.
consecutively.
See, the problem is if you do it every day, you have to come up with something to talk about. And the problem is, unless you go to the drama scene, it's really hard to come up with something that's so exciting
Don't sell out.
that I
then.
want to waste
Don't do it.
somebody's 30 minutes, man. It's like,
No, do it only when it feels right, because authenticity is worth so much more than consistency.
see,
Today.
I think authenticity on this platform is going to become so massively important.
I think it. I mean, I have seen just from my small account that authenticity has always reigned supreme on all. Like I'll post some research that I've been working on for 8 months, and it'll get like 4,000 or 5,000 views first couple, 24 hours or so. But then I posted like my archery video and my daily devotionals, and they get just as many.
Well,
But
I bet
those
it
are not
does, dude.
anything to do that's like difficult for me. That's
Yeah,
not like
but-
hard for me
but-
to do.
When was the last time you went and did a video with a Bible in your hand and a pair of shorts?
I haven't done that yet.
The other day.
Yeah, you get some fucking views. I guarantee you that, sister. I'd watch. I'd go to your altar. I'd be like, Destiny.
Destiny, you want to start a new show on Saturdays?
I feel like this is an OnlyFans scam, and I'm
30
gonna
are you going to be in the shorts too, or what?
I'll do
Hey,
some short
hey.
shorts. Why not?
I'll do a
I'll
joint
take this
venture
time.
with
I'll
you,
do it if Destiny does it.
but you can't route the money through Ed or Brian. Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, me and John.
Yeah.
Hey, good
They
night,
got-
guys.
they-
You guys are
they gotta
awesome.
say- they gotta
Hey, by
go
the
to-
way, how's that XRP doing for you, Mikey Mike?
About the same as Bitcoin, baby.
That sounded like it hurt. That breath out. It
It does. It does.
sounded painful.
Oh, you got upset the other night, dude. I couldn't believe. I just want to, I got to
I'm
dress you
getting
down.
upset.
You got upset the other night about your XRP
Simon?
position. Got a little wanky, dude. I think you
At
went home
Simon?
and just, did your little willy and said, "Okay, I'm so anxiety over my XRP position."
What
You
are you
did.
talking
You
about?
got
Are you talking about
jacked
that? Are you talking about that conversation with Simon the other day?
Oh man, you got like all defensive. I'm like, oh man.
Let me just say this real quick, okay? One, when I talk,
what to do with my damn XRP.
that ain't what I said. That ain't what it wrong. That's not what it's wrong. What I'm
Hey, look,
saying,
we got 1,400 people that came through my on Twitter. I think.
I know you big time, baby.
What did we do? Okay here.
Yeah.
That's nice, man.
I don't know what my numbers were.
Hey,
but
all you
I-
guys should follow these three people, okay? They have the guts to stick a camera in their face or their face in the camera and their voice on a microphone and communicate. And this is going to destroy CNN, Fox, CNBC, Reuters, and every other tip of the spear of the draconian government. This is what this is so important, man. This is more important than Bitcoin. If we don't have this platform or platforms like it that allow us to express ourselves between each other, we're not doing any harm to anybody right here. None, zero. Okay, this is history, and we have a right. And I think people that are attracted to this space, I want to just end with one thing. Okay, one thing that we need to be really careful of, this Cranston thing, this Ed and Brian bullshit thing. These are plebes, nothing. They're not important. They're parasites to the system. But what it reminds me of is they are mainstream media. They're trying to stir the pot. And what I see people doing is there's two things occurring. One, because they have a certain amount of people, who knows if they're real or not, they can spin up big rooms. And because there's two of them, okay, I keep saying this. I said this about 7 months ago as an observation. We need a little button on these spaces where I can ping the host and go, hey, I have 800 people in my room. I want to merge them into your room. I don't want to be decentralized. Okay. And you and I as host, Destiny, everybody, our egos need to like collapse and go, hey, look, yes, absolutely. There's a time when I'm getting smashed by CNN, Disney, Smisney, Risney, CNBC, CNB, whoever. We ought to be coming together going, hey, you know what? Why don't we bring all these audiences together?
Yeah.
Like, hey, Mario, bro, let's merge in right now. I went on the Mario show. If they do shows that are sensible, like we need, I actually think we're getting ready to see who the men are and who the little pussies are. And she's a man. Like, yeah, I'm using this as a metaphor, but I need to know who the warriors are. And there's not going to be much in between. Okay. If you're going to be a passive player, you're going to get fucking spanked, silly. Spanked.
Well,
Cutting the wheat from the chaff.
look, Nvidia's done 30x in the last 10 years, something like that. I mean, we're at the beginning, and there is no idea what's coming. It's going to be an interesting ride to see.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I did go off on that edge just now, but
You're right. You're dead right on that. Like that, I think we're going to start seeing camps. We're going to start seeing people fall into camps, and we're going to know who's who and who's, you know, who believes what. And as long as I got my girl Des on my side, and we going through hell, we're going to keep going and do it together, baby. That's
Hey,
it.
you ever gonna terminate this thing, or you just gonna leave it? You're the surgeon that just never knows when to cut and cut it quick, like this.
Gary's so good at
Hal?
that. I don't know. I
He's
think like
terrible.
this. You know.
I
something
guess
like-
I got
I'm
to
gonna
follow
say-
his lead.
Good. Let me say this, since I'm still on the freaking air right now. Let me just say this to these freaking people. TV and Mark Knoxville's listening, so let me just say this, because I know you, Cardone. I know you, baby. I know you're still watching this. Destiny, I know you're still watching this. 30 Below, I know you're still watching this, and I want to let you know I got something coming for you guys. Y'all freaking mess with Mike Mack, I'm telling you, you're gonna get in trouble. So what I'm gonna do is I'm letting this thing go. What's Bad Fox? I see you. I'm gonna put on my badass 1970s glasses. I'm gonna look everybody right in the freaking mirror, and I'm gonna think about Gary Cardone, and I'm just gonna be like, Cardone,